Hey everyone, welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast, episode 48. Kind of amazing because this is a special week. A special week indeed, because for starters, we are debuting our brand new microphones on our side of things over here. We got a pair of AT2035s. Big shout out to Brandon Wheeler and the rest of the Nintendo Prime community for helping us get these microphones. You guys are amazing. I don't know why you wanted to help me so much, but I appreciate it. We also have a special guest this week on the podcast. Kind of a fill-in guest, because it wasn't planned. But sometimes the best plans are the ones that don't go through. Mm-hmm. We have Mr. She Says. And if you guys don't understand who that is, Boundary Break. That's all you have to know.
Whoa! What a special guest!
What a special guest.
I'm happy to be your silver medal.
Yes, the silver medal. Love your work. Obviously, covering it for a long time back at the Zelda Informer days. A lot of your Zelda videos.
Thank you, sir.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Speaking of Zelda, we have someone who was an original member of the Nintendo Prime Podcast like over a year ago.
Yeah.
Is back. He took over for me at Zelda Informer as editor-in-chief and then just left.
Well,
I don't really know the full story behind it because I wasn't working there at the time. But Mr. Darren Haar is back in the house.
Woo!
How's it going, everybody? I'm back. Glad to be here.
Darren, what have you been doing since your days at Zelda Informer? Because you just vanished off the internet.
Yeah, I vanished. I got a new job, and I was really absorbed in that, and I started doing a lot of other activities. But now that I have some more free time, I'm kind of getting back into Twitter and gaming Twitter more, and would like to start covering more Nintendo news. And being on this podcast is a welcome initiative for me because I was one of the original members, and I'm just glad to be back. Hope I can be back more.
Yeah, you were saying now your Thursday nights are going to be free, which that's
yes, they are.
I would love to have you back on,
Not
especially
before, actually, because I'll be here.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Well, that's assuming that you have internet that's working that night.
Well, I think everything's good. I haven't cut out yet, I think, so.
Awesome. All right, so we have a jam-packed podcast for this week. Just like we started a few weeks ago, we're going to do a quick rundown of what we're going to be talking about, so you can skip around in the podcast if you want. We'll have timestamps down in the description. The topics we're talking about this week, well, if Eric's phone would just...
Yeah.
All right, there it is. So the first topic we're going to be talking about, I should have knew this all the time. We're talking about the Nintendo Direct. Or I should call it the Nintendo Direct Mini to be official. So that's going to be the first thing we talk about. The second topic, we're going to be talking about Animal Crossing.
Whoa.
Our hopes, our desires for
one of my favorite franchises.
A Switch Animal Crossing that might never exist, but we will talk about that. I hope that... okay, we'll get into that when the topic's time. The third topic of this week is going to be about how the Switch passed the Wii U lifetime sales and... why that happened, why the Switch was a success where the Wii U failed. And then the last topic, we're going to talk a little bit about Mario Party and how they can make a good one again. Of course, maybe you guys think Top 100 was amazing.
Well,
make Mario Party great again.
Make Mario Party great again.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe that'll be the name of this podcast. Make Mario Party great again.
Yes, do it.
All right, so I'll just head right into the first topic. I don't really even need to look at this because we're recording this the day that it happened. Nintendo Direct Mini.
Can we talk about the name for a second?
Sure.
Nintendo Direct Mini. I was on Twitter today, and someone asked, why did they call it a Nintendo Direct Mini? It certainly had a lot of announcements in it. Yeah. And I think that's in part due to fan expectations. If it's called a Nintendo Direct, fans are going to expect all these jaw-dropping announcements. But if it's called a Nintendo Direct Mini, then maybe people's expectations will be tampered and they'll be happy with the announcements instead of going on Twitter and complaining about it. So I think that was a very smart decision on Nintendo's part, even though there were quite a few announcements packed into that 15-minute Direct. But
14 minutes, 22 seconds.
Definitely think that was a good decision.
I thought they were just experimenting, and they were just like, you know what? Why are we dragging this out? Let's consolidate it and just make it bam, 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 because it's more entertaining that way. But like you said, the fan expectations is like these 40-minute things. So if they call it a mini to start, it's a lot easier for people to transition into this new format. That was my guess, but I don't know.
Well, the thing is, they've had two other Nintendo Direct Minis before. This isn't the first time they've done it. obviously this is the first time they did it with this new format, right? They ran this new format for like the last year or so, I think, since they announced Switch, something like that, where they do like a listing of topics and just kind of peel through it, kind of like a news show in a way.
Which is a very organized format that I
very organized.
enjoy.
The only thing that I think some people don't like is it gets, especially when they flash the list like on screen at once, you can already like look ahead and they're going to be talking about this game. They're going to be talking about this game. It gets rid of some of the surprises. Although obviously they left the final thing a surprise, but that surprise was kind of spoiled before the direct. We'll get into that. I just think calling it the Nintendo Direct Mini, I think is literally just related to how long it is.
Yeah.
If it's under 20 minutes, they're not going to call it a full Nintendo Direct. They just don't have a reason to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, and I think just before we even get into what happened at the Direct, I think the fact that it was a Nintendo Direct Mini actually ended up upsetting people. Because
that's the fans' fault.
It's not Nintendo's fault. It's not Nintendo's fault. I mean, Nintendo did troll some people the day before.
Expectations were so wild. The Direct was so hyped up before it was even confirmed that there was bound to be a lot of disappointment.
Oh, yeah. There was everything rumored under the sun for this thing. Like, we're going to get Grand Theft Auto 5. We're going to get Red Dead Redemption 2 announced.
Whoa.
We're going to see Pokemon. We're going to see Metroid. We're going to see Smash, Animal Crossing. Like, every possible game in the world was going to come to Switch by the time this Direct came out.
So the moral here is that no matter what, fans will be disappointed. No matter what.
Pretty much.
The moral here is to keep your expectations in check, and maybe you'll enjoy the presentation.
Ooh.
I think we're reaching too high there.
Well, maybe.
No, okay.
You're right.
I mean, here's the thing. I think there's a couple reasons that people... I mean, forget about all the rumors out there that were obviously fake leaks on Reddit and 4chan or whatever that made people have these high expectations. The interesting thing I think about this Direct is the reason people had high expectations for it is because heading into it, we really had no idea what's coming to Switch in the next 6 months. Like, this is the first time since Switch has launched that we entered a month of January. We didn't know when the next major game was coming out. We had no idea. We've known since Switch launched, since before Switch launched, every single month moving forward what was coming. So I think there's a lot of people that are all excited about Switch and want to see the momentum continue, and they're like, well, we don't know what's happening now. So it feels like it's time for a major Direct. Like, it felt like, they should do a major Direct now and then do another one at E3 and then do another one right before the holidays. Like, it felt like Nintendo caught onto a pattern in 2017 because they had that big, Switch reveal event in January. And I think that's what set the expectations really high. Is people are like, well, we need something big right now because we don't know what's coming.
I feel like the mini Direct was well planned, though, because it's not giving you a look at Nintendo's full calendar of 2018. It's just, here's what games are going to tide you over in quarter 1, quarter 2 of 2018. Here's some ports. Here's some details on the new Kirby game. Oh, look, we're getting Dark Souls remastered. Like, I think, honestly, it was well planned just to tide fans over until a larger Direct, before or during E3.
Well, here's what I look at it as. There's a couple ways you can look at this Direct. They packed a lot of content into like a 14-minute segment, but at the same point, there's kind of two sides to this. There's the side that they packed a lot of content, but it was basically DLC for games that already released or ports. There wasn't a lot of new game announcements, so it's kind of like, so we're just reliving the Wii U and playing your old games again. Or in the case of Dark Souls, a 7. Hold on.
Luigi with a bow tie. Oh, man.
Okay. Sorry, we had an audio issue over here. Okay, we'll reset that. Yeah,
but I get what you're saying too. I think it probably would have helped to have at least one brand new game announced.
Well, they did. Mm-hmm. There was a brand new
Animal Crossing.
No, they announced the new Mario Tennis Aces.
Oh, that's right. But I don't know. To me, those always feel like filler games. Yeah.
That game that was my favorite game from the whole Direct. So.
Was it?
Oh yeah,
cool.
Because of the single player. They have not had single player in these Mario sports games since like 15 years ago. It has been so long. They've treated
and it's developed by Camelot too.
Yeah, and they've treated it as this side gutter trash franchise for so long. Like, I'm not saying if you enjoyed Mario Tennis in the past, like all the multiplayer stuff, that's fine. But like Mario Tennis on Wii U was an insult to gamers everywhere. was terrible. They gave you like 2 courses.
Yeah.
Ultra Smash.
It was just terrible. And they charged $60. It's like, what are you doing? And
Are they charging $60 for this game?
why wouldn't they?
Well, I mean, true.
It's got a full single player campaign plus multiplayer. It's probably the biggest Mario Tennis game they've made since it was an RPG. That's the cool thing is like back in the day when Camelot made it, it was an RPG.
Yeah, you never know. It might come back as one.
It doesn't sound from what we saw in the trailer for it. It doesn't look like it's an RPG.
That
It
doesn't
could
mean
be.
it's not.
It's got boss fights. I mean, it could be RPG like. It looks more because you remember in the old school Mario Tennis that was an RPG. I think that was on the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
I believe. I can't remember the exact name of that version of Mario Tennis. Anyways, like it was kind of like an open world, and you would walk to like different courses, and talk to NPCs. This doesn't look like that. It looks like a traditional Mario map where you're just going point to point to point, which tells me that it's not a very RPG like. Now, maybe there's RPG elements. Maybe you do level up. Maybe you earn gear. I have no idea. We don't know enough about it yet, and I'm sure we'll have another direct related just to it before. If it's not a direct, then at least like trailers and stuff that show all that off.
Right.
But that was my most exciting announcement. Actually, just before we started recording, I released a video saying that this is the game that saved the direct for me. Because otherwise, I was not. I mean, the direct itself, I was not happy with. Besides this game, because, and I'm not just saying like I'm okay with Wii U ports. I'm okay with I mean, obviously, all the consoles are getting Dark Souls, so. Like, this isn't just a Switch thing, right? For people like, that's the big announcement. Like, it's just like LA Noire last year. The other systems are getting it, so we'd rather have it than not.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, like, it's the first Dark Souls game on a Nintendo console. That's kind of a huge deal. Like, there's so many Nintendo fans that live inside of this bubble.
Sure.
And they don't want to, venture outside to other consoles. But Dark Souls is an amazing game.
Oh, totally.
I always try to recommend it to my Nintendo friends. And this is probably the first opportunity for some of the more closed-minded ones to ever actually give it a shot.
Oh, definitely.
I'm really excited about that.
I mean, me personally, I've never played a Dark Souls game.
Yeah,
It's not the fact that I, don't want to venture out on other consoles. I just haven't for whatever reason. And I'm welcoming this chance to play Dark Souls on Switch. Dark Souls Remastered. Honestly, that was probably my favorite announcement of the Direct.
Sure.
And then the Hyrule Warriors edition that's coming to Switch that has the maps from the Legends version on 3DS and all the Wii U content on there with new costumes. I mean, playing that in HD or on the go on the Switch, playing the 3DS maps in HD, that's going to be awesome. And, of course, Tropical Freeze, too. I never played that on Wii U for whatever reason. And I loved my Wii U, and I loved buying, Wii U games, but for some reason I just never got around to that. So, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the Direct. There was a couple announcements in there that were kind of getting me hyped. So, I mean, some of the other games, I could care less about, like Kirby.
Ooh.
Some people like those. And The World Ends With You, I like that, but...
Come on, you don't want to ride the friend train?
But what I'm saying is I really like the Direct. I mean, I know a lot of people were disappointed, and it sounds like you kind of were, Nate, save for the Mario Tennis announcement, but I was satisfied with it.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I was like, yeah, it has something for everyone, I feel. I mean, you ended up getting Mario Tennis. To me, I got Funky Kong Tropical Freeze, which is pretty awesome.
Yes.
Funky Kong, yeah.
And I get a chance to play Dark Souls again. I mean, like the chance to play Dark Souls on a handheld and like go out and just not socialize with people and play Dark Souls. That's going to be amazing.
Sounds like the life for me.
At the coffee shop, right? Throwing your Switch
That's
through the
basically
window.
what I'm doing with Skyrim right now. So
yeah. Well, to explain my disappointment, right? I can understand for like Darren, you haven't played like Tropical Freeze, so like that's a nice announcement, and I understand that like there's a huge audience that is buying Switch that never even thought about buying a Wii U. They might not even know what a Wii U is.
Yeah.
So these are like brand new games for them. And I've been arguing since day one that every single Wii U exclusive should eventually be ported to Switch. But
Smash.
Smash. For
I
sure.
think they need to make a new Smash, to be honest.
Oh, both. Tide you over with the old and bring in the new.
Well, if there's no Smash coming this year, at that point, we're going to be almost halfway through the life cycle before a Smash comes out for the console.
That's true. Yeah.
Now you got to consider it's usually only like 5 years, and who knows when they're going to do a revision, new Nintendo Switch or whatever.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch 4K.
Oh, geez. Don't even. You're going to make me drool with stuff like that. Don't talk about that. Let's not get into
Nintendo
that.
Switch VR.
Of course, it'll be like Nintendo Switch 4K running at 10 FPS.
Right.
Because we don't have the technology yet for portable. No, I think for me, I'm in a unique position in that pretty much every single game announced besides the Kirby game, which we already knew about, and the Mario game, I played and beat them all. So this didn't give me anything to look forward to. Like Tropical Freeze is I've said this several times. I'm going to say it again. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is the best 2D side-scrolling platformer of all time. I played a crap load of them. It is my all-time favorite. There is nothing out there that tops it. And it feels weird to say because I played so many. So even like all the Donkey Kong Country games are incredible.
Yeah.
So many of the Mario ones are incredible. You know, there's so many incredible side-scrolling games, but it is my all-time favorite. But like I played it to death. I beat it.
You get to play as Funky Kong.
Yeah, man.
Funky Kong.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I'm playing through the exact same stages, just with a guy who has new ability. It's just like when you got to play it the first time. Yeah, you can play through with 2, 3, 4 characters, but once you beat the stages a couple of times, it's just all the same thing all over again.
But don't worry.
I get where you're coming from.
I'll be real for a second. I agree with Nate there, but it's still it is cool. I've always wanted to play as Funky Kong.
Sure,
but I agree with Nate. Just not in that context. I want new stages and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Right,
like if they had added like a whole new Funky Kong area, right? Like added like a 6 new stages or something with a new end boss. Cool, but like they didn't do that. They went the easiest route they possibly could. Hey, if you bought it the first time, now we're adding Funky Kong.
Hooray.
Buy it again, $60.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, but I
spikes
feel
don't
like
hurt
it's
you.
not for the people that played it on Wii U. It's obviously for the people like me who haven't played it and want to on Switch.
Well, and that's the thing. That's why I like that we have different perspectives here because, like, for me, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm probably going to buy Dark Souls because I never really played it. I don't really know why. I actually own multiple consoles. I don't know why I've never played it. It's just one of those, I play so many games that games that I know are going to take me hundreds of hours, I kind of avoid. Because otherwise I'm going to miss out on so many other games along the way, and then I always tell myself when I have time I'll get back to it, and then just games don't stop coming.
No.
We just have so many, even just on Switch alone. But it's just, I mean, the Mario Odyssey DLC announcement that didn't really excite me. I mean, it's free, so I can't complain. It's just who was asking for a new mode?
But what did we ask for? Playable Luigi. What did we get? Luigi as a game show host in a bow tie.
Yeah, like don't let us play as Luigi, right? As a post-game content thing or anything.
Yeah, when I first saw him in the direct, I'm like, oh yes, playable Luigi. That's all I wanted in this game. Nope. Thanks for breaking my heart.
I mean, the DK DLC for Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, I mean, depending on what's in it, we didn't really see what's in it besides, oh my god, Donkey Kong's in it now.
Yep.
Like, it looks interesting.
That excites me because I love Donkey Kong.
It seems like he fits in that world, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, and they already had, like, the DK boss in there. So it all works, but it's kind of like, I need to see what this DLC actually is besides, now Donkey Kong's in here. Okay, what does that mean? Is he just a playable character that just adds to the roster?
You get to play the same stages over again.
Yeah, there's no new stages, just a new character. Like, that's not going to excite me, especially if they charge for just a new character like that, which they might. Who knows? It's Ubisoft. So like those are not whatever. Like, I can't complain about free Mario DLC. And they had to announce it eventually. It's fine, but everything else, I'm just like, okay, so we're playing Tui, a 10-year-old game. We're playing Dark Souls, a 7-year-old game. We're playing Hyrule Warriors for the 3rd time, by the way. You know, and now a 3-year-old game.
Right.
Like, we're just playing a bunch of games that we've been already playing for like the past decade. All over again on Switch. And I'm not saying that's bad, because I've argued that we should get every single game that's ever existed in the history of mankind on Switch. And that means ports of all these old games. But it's also one of those
what's funny is how many games have already been announced for Switch that have been on the Wii U. And there's only been 3 that I really wanted on the Switch. And that is Star Fox Zero, Pikmin 3, and Smash 4. And every time they announce these new games from the Wii U and bring it over to the Switch, and it's not those 3, I always go, why? Come on, give me those 3.
Here, was it Koei Tecmo? Let me tell you something about your Hyrule Warriors port. I will consider purchasing Hyrule Warriors for the 3rd stinking time for $60 a pop. By the way, that meant I would spend over $160 just on Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, but 3DS.
Well, plus the DLC
40.
I paid money for, so whatever.
Yeah, true.
Honestly, I'm in a great spot. If I decide that I finally want to play Hyrule Warriors, I get all that DLC for free.
For one price for everything, and you don't have to like get
content from both games, new content,
but
and all of
here's
the
what
DLC
I have to say.
for $60.
Here's what I have to say. What was crazy about Hyrule Warriors is when Hyrule Warriors Legends came out, the 3DS port, the new Nintendo 3DS version had better frame rate than the Wii U version. And they both really had crappy frame rate in general. And then we got Fire Emblem Warriors on Switch, and that had a locked 30 FPS and a locked 60 FPS mode that Hyrule Warriors never had. And we're on hardware that's really not that much more powerful than what the Wii U did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Wii U couldn't even hold it at 30. So they're bringing Hyrule Warriors over. I will get excited if they announce they're adding a locked 30 and locked 60 mode. Because now they set that expectation with Fire Emblem Warriors. So now if I have to go back to, oh my gosh, I'm playing on a map and I hitting 15 FPS, like that's just unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Can't happen. Not when you already released another Warriors game on the platform that doesn't do that.
Right. What was the year spread on those?
On which one? The 3DS and Wii U one? They were a year apart.
No. Between Hyrule and Fire Emblem.
Well,
Was that
it depends. Are
couple
we
years?
talking when Legends came out, or are we talking about when the original Hyrule Warriors came out?
Well, which one came out second?
Legends came out
Okay.
second.
That's the
Legends
3DS
is basically
port.
the exact same game, except it included a story mode for Linkle.
Right, okay. Well, I mean, the only thing I could think of would be that in between that time, they did figure out, a little bit more efficient code and were able to do...
Well, Muso games, which is what they are, like they
have horrible frame
frame rate. But for some reason, Fire Emblem Warriors does not. I don't know what the heck they did. You could play at 60 FPS but a lower resolution, or play at a higher resolution, play at 30. Didn't dip at all. It was nuts. I'm like, okay, I've never
just got good, I guess.
Yeah.
Or maybe it just really works on the Tegra X1 for some reason. But it's But the thing is, like, that to me is a big announcement. Like, okay, I know there's still time to announce, but let's say, well, we're just bringing over the same game. But like when they say, oh, we're combining all the content from Wii U and 3DS. 3DS actually had all of the Wii U content. It was Wii U that didn't have all the 3DS content. You would pay less for the 3DS version and get more content than when you bought the Wii U version and then bought the DLC for it. It was nuts.
That is true. Although you could make the case for the content from the Wii U version is the fact that it's HD. I mean, that's cheap, but I mean, it's true.
Well, I know, but like you paid $60, then you paid $20 for the season pass, and I'm not even saying the season pass wasn't worth it, but you paid $80 for all that content, and then a year later you got all that same content plus more on 3DS, and they never brought that more content over to Wii U. So what we're really getting is we're getting Hyrule Warrior Legends.
They did bring some of the characters over to Wii U.
Yeah, no one cares about the characters.
Not the maps, though.
They didn't bring the maps.
I did. I played the heck out of those characters on Wii U.
Well, they didn't bring the new story mode. They didn't bring over the maps. They brought over the characters, and that was cute. I mean, I paid $20 for DLC, and now to get those characters, by the way, you had to pay $40 to get Hyrule Warrior Legends to get the characters on your Wii U version. So you still had to pay $40 just for some characters when you really want the story mode and all that stuff.
Right.
Like, the Hyrule to me it was I did not like what they did with it back then, and I'm just like, why am I getting better performance on worse hardware? Why am I getting extra content for cheaper? And then, but you get bonus content on your Wii U version. Yeah, okay, so I already spent $80 on that, and you're just giving me a few characters. What?
Yeah.
It was a frustrating situation, which is why it's so good for She Says over there when he's like, yeah, I didn't buy any of that, so now I get everything for a lot cheaper.
Yeah, same with me.
But
I'm still holding out.
Then there's me. Then there's me, the dumb Zelda fanboy, who's like, yes, I'll buy Hyrule for a third time.
Well, I
already bought and all the DLC, but whatever.
I mean, obviously, I'm a huge Zelda fan. I am not buying it again unless they fix the frame rate. They did it to themselves.
Buy that game and sink so many hours into it, despite the fact that there's almost nothing new.
As I say, I've already sunk well over 400 hours between the two versions of the game. There's no new content besides a couple costumes, which, the costumes look cool, but okay. This is just like when they gave you Funky Kong, except not as good, because at least that's a whole new character. Literally, if they give us...
That was salty.
If they just take the Wii U version, bring it over, throw in the Legends content, add in those two new costumes, game still runs like crap, then why would people? I mean, outside of like she says who's never why like Darren, why would you buy that again? Why are you supporting them making a crap port of a game?
Just because I like Zelda and I liked Hyrule Warriors.
But don't you already have Hyrule Warriors on 2 other platforms
so
to play it
put
on?
those 3 together and I'll buy it again. Just because I'm a dumb Zelda fanboy who liked Hyrule Warriors.
But don't you already have the game twice and 2 platforms to play it on already?
Yeah, but Switch, man.
Okay, so I got an idea.
Okay.
So maybe if you take your 3DS and your Wii U gamepad and slap them together real hard, maybe it'll combine the games and make everything work together.
Or it breaks and it forces you to have to buy it again.
Well, yeah, there's that.
Either way.
Yeah, but why would you buy a new 3DS when who cares about the 3DS now anyways?
Well, according to Nintendo, it's still being supported through 2018.
It is.
It is. I mean, there's
why?
no games really announced yet, but it's being supported. I mean, they did have I think one. They announced a 3DS demo for a game.
Woo!
Today. I can't remember what the game was.
Kirby. Who
Was it Kirby? Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
like Kirby?
Yeah. Oh, hey, we're talking about the new Kirby game on Switch. Oh, by the way, we dropped the Kirby demo for the 3DS game.
Go buy it.
Go try it out. Go buy that game.
Right. I mean, Kirby didn't look terrible though.
No, if you like Kirby games, it looks like a Kirby game. I mean, there's nothing.
Oh, for sure.
Looks crazy multiplayer mayhem. It looks like it'll be a lot of fun single player. I mean,
Ride the
If
French
only
train.
there were people
Ride the
who
French
liked
train.
Kirby games.
Oh man. Here, I'm gonna let that. I'm gonna let that one
pissed a
go.
lot of people off.
No, it's
let
okay.
that one air out.
It's okay.
It's a good thing we got a window open in here.
Yeah.
Well, like I know. Okay. Because I did a lot of coverage of this direct, right? Like the pre-coverage, the post-coverage, the coverage during it happening, a couple videos after the fact. And the general feeling I'm getting from at least the Nintendo Prime community is that they are not happy with this direct at all. Because all they basically got was Mario Tennis. If you don't like it, you just got a bunch of ports.
Mhm.
And,
Well, and
everyone,
Kirby
and everyone's
too,
just
but
like, okay,
we already knew about
well, when's Wolfenstein 2 The New Colossus coming? It's already announced. When's Yoshi coming? We've seen gameplay of the thing, and you're not going to say anything about it.
Metroid Prime 4.
So they're basically telling us from now until E3, you have no new games to play. You're just playing ports. That's basically the feeling they got out of this direct. Unless they have another direct happening before E3, it's kind of...
That's kind of what I was wondering. You know, maybe for some ungodly reason they decided that they wanted to break it up instead of having one long one. Maybe have a couple of them.
And you
and
got to
then-
remember that this is also coming off of 2017, which set pretty unrealistic expectations for release slate. But every other month they had a major game hitting, and now they're like, we have 0 major games hitting. Come back at E3.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for me personally, I mean, I'll play ports all day.
Well, sure.
And I'm in Skyrim right now. I'm knee deep
Oh, yeah.
in Skyrim. No end in sight. So many quests I have to finish.
Don't worry, they'll release Skyrim 3 more times on Switch. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to be playing this for a while. I'll play the ports, and for me personally, I don't care. But I mean, I'm sure, a lot of people are like, well, what big game am I gonna play next this year? Like, they don't know. But I guess I don't follow enough Nintendo Prime fans on Twitter because everyone on my feed was like, "Oh, this direct was cool," and it was
Sure.
all about, "Oh yes, the world ends with you. That's coming to Switch."
Sure. Well,
I'm going to play Tropical Freeze
probably
again.
talking
Oh my
about our-
goodness, Dark Souls remastered! Like everyone was freaking out on my
That's our
timeline.
most faithful fans. We have like a group of like I'd say 24 fans that were really, really excited. And I think part of it helped that I put out a video the day before the direct happened. I said, "Hey, look, guys, we got to temper our expectations here, right?"
Mm-hmm.
I've heard 50 different rumors, and it basically sounds like every game in existence is coming to Switch. This isn't realistic.
Yeah. Right.
We are just going to get whatever's coming out through E3, and whatever that is, whether it's good or bad, it is what it is. And now we know it's a bunch of ports. I mean, Bayonetta 3 might hit before E3. I can't remember. They just said summer on that. But I think the problem is 2017 was such a huge year for Switch. Like maybe one of the best launch years for a console ever in terms of how they handled it that throughout the year. That when you get into 2018 and you're basically told, well, if you've been a Nintendo fan for a while and you've played all these games, then you don't have anything new to play. We'll see you at E3. And it sounds like now there's a rumor out there. This actually hit before the direct came out that we shouldn't expect much at this direct because Nintendo's game plan for 2018 is to actually take their foot off the pedal and have it be more third-party centric. And that, I mean, that's fine in that of itself if we had gotten some third-party announcements besides Dark Souls.
Yeah, I mean, the one game, was it Fee or Faye?
Yeah.
That actually looks really cool.
Well,
I like that
we've
art
known
style.
about that one for a long time.
I like that art style, though.
Yeah, we've known about that one
That
for a
is a
long time.
nice art style.
Yeah, that's one of
That
those.
is beautiful.
That's one of those smaller. It's like a non-indie game because it's
Right.
being published by EA. But we've known about that game for a long time, and there's a lot of people out there. I know specifically at Nintendo Pride that refuse to buy the game no matter how good it looks because they just don't want to support EA in any
Oh,
way.
yeah.
And that kind of sucks. Like EA controls so many good games. Like there's a lot of focus on the bad. No one really wants to talk about. Hey, like this game's not that half bad. Like Fee, Faye, whatever it's called, not half bad.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Phil Fum.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You don't have to trash everything they do.
But yeah, you're right. EA when EA makes a good decision, you should support it.
Yeah.
You know, this game looks good, and it doesn't look like they're just going to ruin your wallet with DLC.
Well,
you probably
you don't
should
know.
support that.
They won't say anything, and it'll come out, and it'll just be, "Oh, you got past the demo
Microtransactions
level.
yeah.
Now you need a loot box roll to get to level 2."
Right.
Yeah. Well, I hope that's not the case. But you know, like it doesn't look like it's going
No,
in
it
that
doesn't,
direction.
no.
And so long as it doesn't, I feel like you should support the good
Here's the
decisions
thing.
that EA makes.
EA's pretty upfront with their scumminess. We got to give them that kind of credit.
Right. And the thing is, with
True.
to me, EA, I think it's either one of two ways it goes. Either they make the right decision and they knock it out of the park, or they make the wrong decision and it's just absolute garbage.
And it leads
there's
to
not a whole lot in
And
between.
it leads to them closing studios.
Right. There's not a
It's
whole
all
lot
the
in
devs'
between.
fault. It's all the devs' fault.
But she says raises a point. I mean, support the good decisions EA makes, like publishing Fee.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good decision. They picked that game up. That's great.
Yeah.
Support that. Don't support, their other shady practices, whatever you think those might be, but support the good decisions, and maybe they'll make more of them and less of the bad decisions.
Let's imagine that like there's no maybe they have some DLC for this game, but there's no microtransactions, there's no loot boxes, and this game ends up being absolutely just amazing. Well, even if it's a lower price game, say they release it for $10 or whatever it is, if it sells millions of copies, they're going to look at that as we should be doing more of that.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Even if that means they're not going to stop the loot. Like FIFA is a huge money train for them. They're not going to stop all that stuff, but it'll at least get them to consider making more of other kinds of games. Mm-hmm. Like I'm still, I probably stupidly am holding out hope for another good Dragon Age game. I shouldn't have faith in BioWare anymore after Mass Effect Andromeda, and after Dragon Age Inquisition was just But I can't help it, man. I love Dragon Age. I have faith that there's still some talent at BioWare that EA will let make a good game. I hope. I shouldn't, because it's a major AAA game, which means they're going to do something dumb with it. But
You're going to get ports.
yeah. Well, I don't think EA is really going to be making much more for the platform anyways. Although apparently they're really happy with the sales of FIFA on Switch in France.
Oh, okay.
It sold 74,000 copies in France.
Okay.
But the fact that that's the only news we heard on sales of this game so far, lets it did not sell well anywhere else.
Oddly specific.
Yeah, it didn't sell well anywhere else. So they're happy with the sales in France.
Right.
Good for France, man.
So I'm guessing I wouldn't be surprised if worldwide it sold under 200,000.
I'm sure it would probably have sold well in Brazil and Argentina and those places if they could actually get
one
games.
And get a Switch.
Yeah.
Get a Switch. So yeah, I guess I don't want to bring up a lot of negativity here because I was telling people don't expect a whole lot here, but I was at least expecting
one major game.
Well, no. I mean, Dark Souls, Mario Tennis, like
Mother 3, obviously.
Well,
Where was that?
Yeah.
Well, any director of Mother 3 is a failure.
Sitting on a shelf, fully translated.
As we're talking about ports, I'm like, it's never released in the West. I'm not going to call it a port.
Does Jay Leno work at Nintendo? It's on the shelf.
It's on the shelf.
Very nice.
I can't believe I pulled that out. I'll never be able to do that again.
That was great.
So, I think that I guess it's Nintendo kind of did this to themselves. They set the expectations so high with Switch. Mm-hmm. And I know that as gamers and as consumers, we're going to act a little entitled. Oh, look what they did last year. We should get at least the same treatment this year. And I don't think that that's necessarily true. But if they're not going to have like major games hitting in the first 6 months, besides like Kirby and Mario Tennis. Like, then they should at least have a slate of third-party games that seems enticing. Now, obviously, Dark Souls is going to be enticing for some people, and I think it's a great way to potentially get Dark Souls 2 and 3 eventually on Switch as well.
And you have Wolfenstein 2, don't forget that.
But like Wolfenstein 2, we don't know when that's coming. It's just slated for 2018.
I heard spring 2018.
But if it was spring 2018, they would have talked about it in this
You'd figure.
This direct literally went through spring. So it's kind of like it would not
Well,
being
it was
mentioned.
mostly new announcements in this mini direct. So
Kind of. I mean, Fei, that's not a new announcement.
that's true. But wasn't that just kind of glossed over, or did they give like a full trailer to it? I don't remember.
I can't.
Well,
I actually don't remember.
They did have some gameplay. It wasn't like a full trailer.
Well,
like,
it was 14 minutes. Let's be real.
Right.
Nothing got a lot of
Right.
screen time.
yeah, no, they had some gameplay. Sorry.
Yeah.
And to me, it looks absolutely beautiful.
Sure. Well, okay. I guess, when you think about, was this direct mostly new announcement? I mean, the Kirby game wasn't a new announcement.
Mhm.
All the DLC was obviously new announcements. The Wii U ports were new announcements.
The world ends with you. Is that?
That's a port. That's
Is it
a
a
new
port? Okay.
announcement. Yep. So that's an old DS game, I think.
Yeah,
Right?
that was a DS game.
Yes,
I was
but
surprised to see a DS game announced.
I was like, so a DS
getting a
game's getting
Switch
ported.
port.
Why not a 3DS game? Well, then again, we're getting Hyrule Warriors, and it's the 3DS version.
Yeah.
No, true. Just HD.
You know what? We should consider ourselves lucky in this regard. Remember, like 10 years ago, when like only new game announcements would be at E3, and that was it. So it was like to get like all these decent announcements at the start of the year.
Well, what was nice about those E3 announcements is they'd let you know a roadmap for like the next 18 months.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So like we went to enter 2018 not knowing what's coming. We would already know. We might not know release dates, but we would be like, okay, all these games are coming in spring. All these games are coming in summer.
Yeah, so this is more of a trickle, but
Yeah.
like
It's
If you're
all about
Sony, they're going to give you a roadmap to all their games releasing in the next 4 years.
Well, this also tells me
4
something.
years.
Like Nintendo said they plan to sell 20 million Switches in this upcoming fiscal year that starts at the end of March in April. And that tells me that they don't really care what they release from now till April because they're already well on pace or have already exceeded the numbers that they were planning for this fiscal year. So they're
Yeah,
really
definitely.
focused. They're really focused for post E3, where potentially we're going to get a Pokemon. Potentially we're going to get, there has to be more than one major game coming from Nintendo this year. So you figure they announced Fire Emblem last year for this year, but we haven't seen it yet.
That would be awesome. A full Breath of the Wild treatment for Pokemon for Switch at
yes,
E3.
please.
At E3. Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Yes, please.
Oh, then I almost feel like I'm gypping our fans if we go to E3.
Yeah.
Because what is the one thing we said we haven't played in like the last 15 years?
Pokemon. But
Pokemon.
it'd be. I get it. I trust me, and I'm kind of on the Pokemon train, but
I'd help you with your Pokemon coverage, Nate. Don't worry.
Okay, Darren. Okay. I've heard, Darren, here's the thing. I love you, man. You know how many times you told me you'd help me out or you'd do something and then you just don't show up and you're not even online?
I'm here tonight.
Hey,
Come on.
yeah,
I'm trying to be better.
you gotta give him that one.
And you did get us a premier guest.
yes.
Yes, I did.
I think this is the first
You
time
asked me like 20 minutes in advance.
Well,
I'm
that's
like,
because-
"All
okay.
Who can I contact?
All right. I hate calling anyone out. Well, the original guest for tonight was supposed to be Josh Thomas. Now, if anyone knows anything about him, he can be kind of an asshole at times. It's no secret. And I feel like this is just a theory because he's not responding to me anymore. So I'm just assuming he's never going to be on this podcast ever again. Because we went back and forth on Twitter for a day, and then he's like, "Cool, I'm in. Lock me in. I'll be there." He followed me. We were doing DMs, and he just stopped reading the DMs. And I think it's because immediately after I invited him on, I was also asking around to see what other YouTubers might want to come on because I'm trying to make us have a special YouTuber guest every week. And I asked Game Explain, and then I realized that he has beef with Game Explain. So he probably wasn't happy
I didn't know that.
I asked Game Explain.
Yeah, it's from way back in the day.
Granted,
Because I
Game
remember he used to be on their podcast all the time.
yeah, and Game Explain never responded. I mean, I probably should try to contract Andre directly instead of using the general overall Game Explain Twitter. But, yeah, I don't know. it's just an interesting thing, and I'm just glad that, you know, no shade on you, Josh Thomas, if you end up watching this. It's just you need to communicate better, otherwise you're not going to get treated well by other people on the platform. It's just saying. If you had an issue with me inviting Game Explain, you could have just came to me and said that. Or if you just had something come up, you were tweeting all day on Twitter, so it wouldn't have hurt you to hit the DM box and reply to my message and say, sorry, can't make it.
Unless, I mean, something literally came up like
I guarantee
second.
as we're recording right now, I could probably look at my phone. He's probably bitching on Twitter about this direct. Because he was already...
Well, hey, now we got She Says.
He was
here,
already
so.
yelling at people. Yeah. Well, we got She Says. So thank you so much. And the thing is, I'm a little bit... If you would have been on our podcast like 6 months ago, I would have been awestruck.
Really?
Yes. You don't understand how much I love
Boundary
the
Break, man.
Boundary Break is
Wow.
like my favorite series on YouTube.
Dude, thank you.
I don't know how much work it takes to do it, but I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Because like at the frequency...
I wish I was a Let's Player. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. Or just a game streamer, right?
Yeah.
just making all those Twitch revenue in. It's I just have such respect for your work, and you're someone that I would never even contemplate asking, because I'm like, well, he's like almost 300K subs. Is he going to care about a little guy over here trying to make his dreams come true?
No, I love talking about Nintendo. I don't get an outlet for it, so anytime you want me to be on the show, please.
Well, that's
Nice.
We'll see you next week, She Says.
I'll be there.
We'll keep you in. Maybe you'll be our new emergency backup instead of Game Over Jesse.
Sorry, Jesse.
I know Game Over Jesse. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
good guy.
Game Over, he's a good guy. I'm supposed to be on his podcast this Sunday, but you know, I think he's having some personal issues. I don't know. He keeps vanishing and not responding to people, and then he just shows up like 4 days later and expects you to be ready.
Well, he does have a family.
Yeah, he's got a kid, so something's going on there, but that's all right. Love you, Game Over Jesse, no problem. We still have to get our new episode of Zelda Inquiries going on. He's going to be on that. All right, so is there any guys got any final thoughts on the direct? I mean,
I thought it was dope. I liked it.
okay,
Ports, man. I'll play them all day.
Ports will play him all day.
I like the format.
Okay,
I personally, you know me, it's more towards the point, and instead of dragging this out and going, oh my God, come on.
Oh, there is one complaint I have.
ooh,
Not enough Reggie.
there was no red.
There's no Reggie.
Not Reggie at all. There was no Reggie.
We really needed at least like 10 minutes of him dragging out his own introduction. Like, my name is Reggie.
You may have heard of me.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel
At
like
Nintendo
I think
of America.
that's part of the new format, though. Is Reggie's just
That's
not gonna-
Reggie, yeah.
Unless it's E3, Reggie's not going to be on it because he took on that new position
Yeah.
in Nintendo.
Well, I'll
Japan.
say this. Hashtag reboot Reggie.
Reboot.
Yes.
He needs to come back.
Let's start
It's
it
like
trending.
the best part.
Well, here's the thing. You gotta remember the Reggie being like the face of all these directs, or like a big part of them, also happened during the era when Satoru Iwata was like the face of everything Nintendo, always so public. Tatsumi Kimishima is not like that at all. And I feel like they're trying.
He's more behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I feel like he's trying to get Reggie to be more of a look. I recognize the fans love you, so you should still make appearances, but we need you to focus more on the corporate side of things. Because now he's
I'm
got
not
to
a
be
fan
He'll
of
be
that.
more of an E3 presence.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's always going to be like the front man at E3. He's always going to kick it off. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
at the Super Mario Odyssey event when they launched that out in Nintendo New York. Like he's still going to have a presence. He's still going to be there at new console launch events, but it's still one of
It's
those.
going to be major events, not.
Yeah, it's not going to be these directs anymore. I mean, heck, think about it. We don't even see Bill Trinan at this stuff anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
You know, that's fine. I accept it, but I don't have to like it.
yeah, you
Right,
don't
right.
have to like it. No.
Hashtag reboot Reggie. Let's get that trending.
Hashtag
Let's go.
reboot. Reggie.
I
Oh,
wanna-
Although I
God.
do
I like it.
notice Bill Trinan, if you want to get your fill of Bill,
He tweets a lot.
Hashtag get my fill of bill.
he's been more active on Twitter lately.
He tweets
Oh,
a
that's
lot.
cool.
He tweets a lot. When he's active on Twitter, like, granted, he's not talking about Nintendo very often, obviously, but he's got a life. You can find out, oh, hey, Bill Trinan is not just this translator guy. He actually has a life.
Whoa.
Actually, he's not even on the translator team anymore, but
Whoa.
he's moved up the chain. That's probably why we don't see him as much.
Yeah.
I thought Reggie fired him.
Yeah, right. That's right.
start that
That's
rumor.
right. That's right. Reggie fired him. That's why we haven't seen him anymore. All right, cool. So we'll move on to our second topic then. Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing, man, love it, love it.
So there isn't an Animal Crossing announced for Switch. We haven't
That
had
is a mistake.
We haven't had a quote unquote home console Animal Crossing in a hell of a long time.
Long time.
The last quote unquote home console anything Animal Crossing was Amiibo Festival. I think we could just agree to forget that ever existed.
No. City Folk on Wii.
Yeah, I don't even like that one, honestly.
Do you remember? You remember
that's
before?
heresy.
Do you remember back when Wii U launched and they had like this? They had this. What was it? They had this like online thing you could do with Animal Crossing on Switch that made no sense at all because it was connected. It was what was
it
that?
was like the Plaza.
Happy Home Designer?
Plaza.
The Plaza.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the weirdest thing. They're like, oh, hey, look, we released New Leaf on 3DS, but here's this cool little online thing you can kind of do on Wii U. Oh, are we going to get an Animal Crossing game on Wii U? No.
Well, we're going to get one that sucks.
Yeah, it's... anyways, so obviously...
Speaking of Josh Thomas, can I throw back to a little video on Twitter he did a while ago?
Sure.
He did an unboxing of Amiibo Festival. It was literally like 10 seconds long. He just opened up his trash can and dropped the game inside the bin, and the video ended. That's my feelings on Amiibo Festival.
That is fantastic.
You might as well do that with Happy Home Designer too. Throw that in there.
Well, and
Throw that in there.
this is actually this topic. I've been saving it up for a while because I actually was hoping I'd get Josh Thomas on once because I know I just threw a little shade on him earlier because I just feel like better communication should be expected. But setting that
he's
aside,
as much of an Animal Crossing nut.
he
as
is probably one of the biggest Animal Crossing fans I know. If you have ever seen the Make Believe series,
I've seen it. Yeah,
so good.
if you haven't seen it, you need
video.
to type like if you don't even like he calls it. It's not. It used to be the BitBlock, now it's Nintendo Beyond. If you don't even like him, that's fine. Just go watch his Make Believe series. That's all you need to do.
It's awesome. Even if you don't like Animal Crossing, just what he does.
It's the most amazing.
It's amazing.
It's the most amazing original Nintendo content I've ever seen.
YouTube.
How did he pull that off? He had an animator on board? Was that it?
I don't know how. The thing is, he did that first episode right, all animated. With the air thing and everything going on.
Yeah,
and
hot air balloons.
Then he had an animated Mario Kart one, I think.
Delfino Plaza.
Yeah. And then he came back with the next one, and I was following him at this time because it was going to be Animal Crossing related. It was the Shore Shanty. Still really, really good. Has a little bit of animation in it. But throughout the process, he's like, yeah, I was trying to animate this whole thing, but then it said it was going to take like 700 hours to render or something. And I was like, well, how did you do it the first time and the second time? Did somebody else do it for you? Like, I'm not knocking him. He does a lot of hard work on it, but it's kind of like,
definitely.
but you did it before.
Rendered on a massive server.
What's different now? Maybe he doesn't have the computer he had back then, or who knows what happened. He never really went into details on why he could do it before.
What he accomplished,
it's
whether it was
amazing.
him or an animator, it was a ton of work. There's just no way of looking past it.
Yeah, and even like the Shore Shanty one, which has a lot less animation in it, is still really, really good, really well presented. Everything's all HD art assets. There is some animation, and it presents really good original ideas.
Well, don't worry, gentlemen.
it's
I will be your Animal Crossing nut this evening.
All right, good.
No, I will be definitely.
That's the thing. Here's the thing: the last Animal Crossing thing that we got at all was Pocket Camp.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think Pocket Camp isn't that bad for what it is.
It's not. It's not that bad. It's repetitive. That's its problem.
Well, Animal Crossing is repetitive.
No, yeah.
You literally are describing Animal
Pocket
Crossing.
Camp is more repetitive. It's
it's
literally
smaller.
doing the same tasks over and over and over and over on a much smaller scale, which makes it seem much more repetitive.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
So the pros of that is always in your hand, always in your pocket. Mm-hmm. The cons, it's a stripped down Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm. It just makes me want the real thing. It just makes me want the real thing.
Well, I think that's the desired intent with Nintendo. They're like, let's give them enough so that they get a taste of it, and then they got to buy that sweet hardware.
Yeah. Well, Nintendo has said they've been very forward about their mobile games, even back when Satoru Iwata was alive and he announced, hey, we're going to start making mobile games after he was so against it. He said, look, we're going to do mobile games, but the intent of the mobile games is to make people want to buy our systems and our games for those systems.
There you go.
And Pokemon Go really
Switch.
really spurred. I mean, Pokemon Go spurred sales really, really well for the Pokemon series last year. I don't know if Super Mario Run had any effect on Odyssey. I feel like Odyssey, the success of the Switch probably had more effect on that than that. But whatever. We have the Fire Emblem Heroes. That's still a pretty popular game. We'll see if that affects Fire Emblem sales on Switch. But the thing is, we don't have an Animal Crossing announced on Switch. Can we at least all agree that the fact that Pocket Camp exists means there's going to be an Animal Crossing on Switch?
Yes.
Yeah.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we all
Nintendo
hope so.
has done some
Right.
stranger things in the past. They could release some weird spin-off
Well, here's
on
the thing.
Switch instead of a proper Animal Crossing
If
game.
they want to consider Animal Crossing a portable franchise, now Switch is portable, so okay.
Yeah.
I hope not. I hope that it keeps coming. If Nintendo releases a home console after the Switch, I hope Animal Crossing comes to that.
Yeah. Well, Animal Crossing is very popular, by the way. New Leaf, that just blew up out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
New Leaf blew up. It went off the charts.
I hope that Nintendo understands that it has everything to do with their install base and far less to do with what console it's actually on. Like, everyone has a 3DS, and people of all ages. So, like, if you have Animal Crossing on the 3DS, you're going to get a lot of people buying that. Where if you're going to, put it on the original GameCube, there wasn't a huge install base for the GameCube. It was like in third place at the time, I think, right? Or was it the original Xbox? I forget. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Point is, it was a new franchise,
Yeah.
and they just didn't, establish Animal Crossing yet.
It was on the N64 in Japan, though.
That's right. Yeah,
Well,
Animal Forest. That's right.
Animal Crossing on Wii did really well as well.
So there you go. Yeah, and you know what? Even if you want to run with that argument that they might not port it to the Switch because it's they want to focus on handhelds, it technically is a handheld system.
No, that's why I feel like I can't even get the words out.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing, I feel like, is one of those games that isn't announced but is practically guaranteed to land sometime in the next 2 to 3 years.
See, but that's what I thought about Wii U, and
I didn't think that with Wii U,
and that didn't happen.
I didn't think that with Wii U, because once New Leaf blew up on 3DS, it became like Pokemon. Why bring it to a different platform when you can just keep making 3DS games?
True.
Like, I think the reason Pokemon's coming to Switch is because no matter what Nintendo tells us, that Switch isn't a replacement for the 3DS. It's a replacement for the 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
So it's a natural it's the natural transition for Pokemon to be on the new portable system.
Right.
And I feel like that's what's going to happen with Animal Crossing as well. Now, assuming that we're going to get an Animal Crossing on Switch, I'm going to start with Mr. Eric, because I always do this, and I start with our guests, and then Eric has nothing to say.
Whatever. Don't bother me any.
You took all the words out of my mouth.
It don't bother me any.
No.
Well,
No pressure,
as the host, I got to drag people in sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm dragging you in this episode, Eric.
Yeah.
No pressure.
What are your hopes and desires for an Animal Crossing game on Switch? What could they do to make you want to pick it up and play it? You played. I don't think you played New Leaf.
No,
But you played the GameCube version.
I played the
That is a
GameCube version,
mistake.
and that was
Dust
it.
off your
Yeah.
3DS right now, sir.
So what
Yeah.
what could they do? It's just like the Pokemon argument. Like, what could they do to make you want to play it?
I don't know if they have to do anything really different. I just have to play it. I don't, I'm serious. It's
I get where he's coming from.
Well, is there any
Like, they
feature in
could
the game you
slap
like?
Animal Crossing on it. It could be a piece of crap, and I'd still buy it because Animal Crossing.
no, it's more of a, I enjoyed the GameCube version of it. So
Plus, we abuse the time clock all the time.
right,
I try not to.
yeah, but so it's a game that I did enjoy in the past. So it's why not give it a shot now? I mean, it's not one of those things that I don't think they have to do anything to really get me to absolutely buy it. I just got to try it again, and I will more than likely like it, because Pocket Camp wasn't terrible. But so
Well, that's the thing. You tried out Pocket Camp.
the funny thing about Pocket Camp that it's like, oh, come look at my camp. Yo, here's my vision for your camp. Who cares? It's my camp.
It's
my camp.
Can I just build the camp the way I want? No. Oh, I gotta love
That's
your
the whole
vision.
premise of Animal Crossing. Like, this is your world, at least in New Leaf.
It's your world.
Yeah.
Well,
Do what
there's
you
also the
do.
premise.
Only life imitated this art.
Well, it's also, this is your life, but then there's also you want the town to love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You want
know.
people to worship the ground you walk on because you're the only humanoid amongst a bunch of talking animals.
No, there's going to be a couple other humanoids.
Yeah, I know, but it just, Okay. Anyways,
Right.
moving on.
So yeah, it's nothing that I think they could add to really make me want to play it. I think I just have to play it. I think I would enjoy it if I actually played it, but
Sure.
I don't think they can do anything differently to really draw me in.
Oh,
Okay.
wait
You know
till
what
it's
I'm saying?
my turn, fella.
Yeah.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Okay,
Well,
so
I mean,
Ooh, we're going to
be
unload.
here's the thing. Like, I'm in your camp in that I did actually play New Leaf. I didn't get drawn in like everyone else did, and I started, I think, realizing that Animal Crossing might not just be the game for me anymore that it was when I was younger, because as my gaming repertoire, there's a word,
Ooh.
expanded.
oh.
There's a word, as if that's supposed to be some fancy word or something.
My repertoire.
Gotta get the pinky up. Oh yeah,
yeah,
the pinky.
Yes, repertoire.
As I kind of expanded, started playing a bunch of different games, I kind of realized, okay, Animal Crossing is Sims Light. And I enjoy building my own houses and designing my own stuff
That hurt.
more than just decorating it inside of a predetermined building.
Nate, that hurt.
Well,
That really hurt.
I understand that. Like, I used to enjoy like trying to fill up the museum, trying to catch all the different types of fish, trying to get all the different fruit, doing all the different side quests, and helping out all the villagers. And I'm like, but we talked about this before. You mentioned how Pocket Camp's too repetitive. Animal Crossing on its own is just a repetitive game. Like, yes, Pocket Camp's more restricted in how big it is, so it feels more repetitive. But honestly, that's what Animal Crossing New Leaf, when I was playing it, the reason I stopped, after the first 5 hours, I was doing the exact same things all over again. And like, I was doing it on the day, like, oh, I got to log in today to do the exact same things I did yesterday, so I can maybe get that new rug to put in my house. Like, I'm like, why am I doing this? What's the fun in, like, I'm setting up this little pixelated thing on my 3DS. No one's going to come look at it.
man.
I understand
It's the
that.
atmosphere.
It's the feng shui.
It's calming.
feng shui.
It's relaxing.
Okay.
The feng shui.
It's calming. It's relaxing. I mean, it depends on how you play the game, because some people are like, yeah, they just do the same things every day. But honestly, it depends on
Whose
how you
fault
play
is
it.
that, right?
How you want to landscape your town, where you want to plant your trees in New Leaf with the Public Works project. Got to grind and grind, get those bells so I can
Grind and grind and grind. You're doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, but it's fun because of the atmosphere, Nate.
Oh my goodness.
Fun.
The atmosphere doesn't change the fact you're grinding. Doesn't change the fact you're doing the same thing.
Someone's
Fun.
channeling their inner Rossetti.
Fun.
No Rossetti.
But I mean, I agree that it is repetitive.
Well, here's
I
the thing.
honestly don't mind the repetitiveness.
I think
But
sometimes you have
honestly,
to accept.
that's
okay,
something
sorry.
they can improve on in the Switch version. Add
Yeah.
some mechanics to make it not
Well,
as
do they
repetitive.
need to?
Maybe that's something that will make you buy Animal Crossing
No,
on Switch.
here's the thing. I feel like, and I talk about this with gamers a lot, and I need to accept the advice myself. It's okay for a game not to be for you. Like they don't need to make
definitely.
they don't need to tailor Animal Crossing to be a game that I want to play. Animal
If
Crossing,
you don't want to play it, I hate you.
Animal Crossing is an extremely repetitive game, and there's a lot of people that enjoy that kind of stuff. Look at the sales of New Leaf. Look at the success of Pocket Camp. Like, people enjoy this stuff. It's
Definitely.
okay if it's not for me. Like, I enjoy it for the first 5 hours, but it's not worth, $40-$60 for me for 5 to 10 hours of entertainment, where I realized 5 to 10 hours in that I was doing the exact same thing I was doing back in hour one.
So, Nate, with all that in mind, what is your desires, hopes, and dreams for Animal Crossing on Switch? That it doesn't exist?
No. It needs to come. No.
Oh.
As I said, I talked about how it's okay. It's okay for the game not to be for me. It needs to exist. It's too popular of a franchise to not exist, and there's too many people who want to play it. If I had to, just
The fact you say that makes me happy.
just peg a few things on it. Well, I'm glad you say that, Darren, because even if it's a game you don't enjoy or whatever, that doesn't mean you should take the joy away from other people. And that does not.
I could
that
care
happens-
less if Fire Emblem existed personally, but I'm glad so many other people enjoy it. Yeah, get your Fire Emblem game on Switch. Get your Fire Emblem Warriors. That's great that you have that to play. I'm not going to pick it up, but I'm glad you enjoy it.
We know what's sad about the attitude that you and I are having here is it feels rare in the gaming community.
Yeah.
Right.
It
Well,
is.
I'll step in and say it. Part of the reason why so many people would disagree with both of you is, Nintendo clearly doesn't service all of its franchises every generation. So
Sure.
when they invest in something you don't want and you don't
It
get
could
the
be a little
franchise you want
disappointing.
represented, like say in the Wii U generation or the N64 generation, it's because resources were pulled away from that franchise to work on something you didn't want to play.
Sure. Well,
Could be.
and
yeah.
that's just get mad at Nintendo for not expanding their teams and being able to keep up with it. And-
Absolutely. I'd say my biggest criticism of Nintendo of all time will be that they don't just hire more teams. Maybe it's just. I mean, I've heard that they're astronomically wealthy as an entire
Yes.
company.
Yes,
So
they are.
to me, I think the biggest risk would just be to hire more teams so that they have way more games coming
They
out.
had to bring in a lot of staff. I can't think of the company's name right now, but to come in and help with Breath of the Wild. Nate, do you remember
Monolith
the company?
Soft.
Oh, that's right,
Monolith
yeah.
Soft,
Yeah, but then they still
they
made
had to
Xenoblade
bring in
Chronicles
those
2
guys.
in the same year
Yeah.
that Breath of the Wild.
They've been keeping those guys busy. My
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. Well, I look at it as I think Switch is actually the answer to a lot of these issues. Nintendo, since NES and Game Boy, has always been making games for two different platforms. So like there'd be franchises that would only come out on the handheld, franchises that only come out on the console, some crossover, some not. Some franchises fall by the wayside, but usually when that happens, it's just because they're not selling well. So it's a smart business decision not to keep making a
Yeah.
game that no one's buying.
Now,
Which
guess
is why
what? Instead of getting one
which is
Mario
why-
game on the home, one Mario game and you get one or more for this one hybrid console. I mean, honestly, it's a win-win.
That's the thing. If they have all their development teams working on Switch, we should, in theory, get more variety of games on Switch from Nintendo. In theory,
Definitely.
haven't seen it yet, but in theory, that's how it should work out as time moves on. Because
Yeah, we're not even a year into
Yeah.
it yet.
Yeah, so like when I sit back then and I'm thinking about Animal Crossing, like okay, it's a game that doesn't interest me. I'm the one that chose to even have this topic on here. Why would I choose a topic that doesn't interest me? Because I know how much it interests a lot of our viewers and interests our guests over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I played Pocket
definitely.
Camp because just like Eric, I'm like, well, you know what? It's not like I hate the game.
Right.
It's just it's not entertaining enough for me in comparison to other games I could spend my money on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an uber Animal Crossing fan. Animal Crossing and Zelda are my two favorite Nintendo franchises. But
Yeah, nice.
I stopped playing Pocket Camp after 2 weeks.
Sure.
I mean, I haven't even looked at the app in, a month or so.
All those berries and apples you haven't picked yet, butterflies in your pond. But it's when I think about my hopes and dreams, even though it's a game that doesn't necessarily entertain me, I'm so interested in the culture around it. That's why I like the Make Believe series. You're darn right. I watched his 2 Animal Crossing Make Believe videos multiple times because he had some really cool original ideas that I feel like if Nintendo could take some of those ideas, even like the Shore Shanty idea or the blimp idea, if they could expand the world, make it feel even more like this massive online world of people doing their little communities. Because yes, they had it where you can get on the train in the past.
Yeah, and you can visit other people's towns.
But it would feel cooler if it was more connected than that.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I could tell you how.
Sure.
So, like you said, it's already more connected now than ever before. It started off on earlier consoles with no online whatsoever. But now it's completely different. The shift is focused and people are visiting each other's towns more and there's a lot more online interactivity. I think they could go forward with that and do something even bigger. Like, for example, you know how you have to pay your debt back to Nook and take care of your own house?
Yeah.
It's a very solo experience, taking care of your own house. Sure, you can sell stuff to other characters or rather other players and supplement your own house. But no one really cares about your house except for you. If there was something in Animal Crossing that everyone could get together, like if there was a lobby where several players got together and were contributing money to this one project, and there's just no way that it could get done by one player's wealth alone, it has to be contributed by multiple players. Mm-hmm. That would be something to bring people together and expand the interactivity amongst players for Animal Crossing.
Would be interesting. They obviously have to keep the single player aspect, so you're going to have your own little community.
Sure.
But what if they added this central point where you can come together for a university experience? So what you have is a massive college dorm room area, and you have to work together to be able to expand the dorm and add. You want to add that pool in the back? That's going to take the whole community coming together to make that happen.
Right. Well, I was thinking like for more solo player experiences too, you could have like each person's town gets one attraction, and each attraction has like a mini game tied to it once you finally complete it. So like one person could choose to have the basketball court in their town, and you could play basketball. Like you could legitimately play it. Another person could have ping pong or something set up in their town, and like that would not only incentivize you to have an attraction for your own town so that you can kind of have more stuff to do in Animal Crossing, but it also incentivizes you to go out there and visit other towns and experience the attractions that the other players decide to set up in theirs.
Sure.
I'm not going to lie.
That sounds great.
If I had the ping pong table, I'd definitely name my town Ding Dang.
Oh my god, ping pong. I was playing ping pong and Ding Dang. All right. Kudo points to anyone out there that gets that reference.
Yeah.
Man, you had some good ideas. Like this is what's cool. Like when you have people who really love Animal Crossing on the podcast, you're like, your ideas are way better than mine.
It'd be kind of cool to see it turn into a MMO something. Some type
That would
of
be
thing.
cool, but at the same time, I really wouldn't want to lose the single player game aspect.
No, yeah, absolutely not. I think that like the online should be more supplemental, but there also should be a focus on single player content.
When you think about,
I mean, the online community for Animal Crossing is so interesting. I mean, the culture. I mean, there's forums dedicated to just meeting up and trading and doing different things.
Oh, I've done
like
back in the day, man. I used to actually go on the Animal Crossing fan page website and trade cards with real people. Like we would give each other our addresses and we'd mail the cards to each other.
And I mean, Beltree forums. I mean, so many people go on there. There's just like a whole online community for Animal Crossing waiting to be cultivated. You know, for new ideas. Improved online is definitely something a Switch Animal Crossing could implement. Whether it's coming together to play different mini games. Usually it's just you can walk around with each other and fish and do fun things like trade, but there's really no mini games implemented that you can both do. And New Leaf, you could go to the island together, but that's about it.
Yeah, and the interaction there wasn't that great either. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like you could they should add like mini games and stuff that really, because they're not going to bring back the NES games. That was a big thing.
That was cool.
Yeah, but they're just never going to do it again because now there's a profit to be made on Virtual Console. Yeah. But you can make your own mini games for Animal Crossing, and bonus points if you make it interactive with other players. You can make like a multiplayer experience. There was something. Yeah. Oh, that's right. On the island, there was like that. They're like, catch all the butterflies and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was stuff like that.
But like, we could do better. I think it was like
Animal Crossing now featuring dynamite fishing.
Yes. Like Breath of the Wild does.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Also improve the graphics.
What
garbage graphics? No,
I mean, definitely like full HD 1080p Animal Crossing on Switch.
Give it that bloom effect that they gave Wind Waker.
Well, here's the thing. I'm hearing you, but if you look at Pocket Camp, that's already in HD. I think that's just what it would be on Switch.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see
it would look
like,
cleaner. I disagree. I think it would look a lot cleaner.
I don't think it would. I play it on an OLED screen. This ain't gonna look cleaner than that.
Yeah, I just want to see
my
like
phone is crappy, but
I just want to see graphical effects like bloom and stuff like that. Stuff that they added
more artistic effects. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, just make the towns bigger. They're always too small.
Always. That's I want the towns and the GameCube version. I mean, those are pretty big, right?
Not bad, but you could make it bigger and add more to it.
They can make it bigger, but here's the thing: every game since has had a smaller world. Like, what's the deal with that?
I think, make a
bigger world.
Yeah, I know exactly. Well, with Wild World, it was definitely because of hardware limitations. I have to imagine.
And you could go to the city in the Wii version. Oh yay, new era.
I mean, is it really because of hardware? I gotta throw out there. Can it really be about hardware limitations when weaker hardware had a bigger world?
It was the N64 technically weaker than the DS system? Or was the DS technically somewhat weaker but could handle games?
The DS could handle like full N64 games. So
yeah. You know what it was? I got so involved in this stuff because of Boundary Break, but like the Mario 64 DS that looks better on the DS, right?
Yeah.
But that's because they have better textures on the characters. There's actually a lower polygon count on everything in that game.
Well, yeah, because I think it's a lower resolution just in general.
Oh, that too.
So,
yeah, it's like 240p or something. I think.
Terrible. Well, it wasn't so terrible back then, but terrible. Imagine if Switch had a 240p screen. Oh my god, I would cry. I would cry so bad. Oh, I gave you a 20-inch screen. Yeah, but it's 240p.
And that's when you just drop the mic and walk out.
The pixels are the size of my head. Okay, so we talked a lot about like how they could make the world bigger, maybe make online and mini games maybe more of an important aspect. Is there anything else we want to see done with this game?
Character creation. This is something that's been implemented in Happy Home Designer and Pocket Camp, but it hasn't been in a mainline Animal Crossing game. You could answer little questions and it would make your character look different, but there's no proper character customization. You can't, choose your skin tone. I mean, you could kind of in New Leaf by going to get a tan, but that didn't work out really well. So definitely they should have a more robust character creation.
Looks like they stepped that up with Pocket Camp.
Yeah, exactly, with Pocket Camp. And I never played Happy Home Designer, but I know that game had character creation. Also, definitely, speaking of Happy Home Designer, bringing over some more robust customization features for houses in general. I haven't played Happy Home Designer, but that's what that game was about. So they could bring some of those features over into an Animal Crossing game on Switch. Definitely make it a little more fun to customize your house.
I'd say more quirky random events. I love the stuff where like you could randomly visit Mr. Rossetti in his base and stuff like that, and sneak up on him. Things of that nature where it's not really expected. It happens at random, but it's a memorable experience. If there was more of those littered out throughout the next game, those are the things I cherish most out of Animal Crossing, I feel.
What do you guys think about, how there's those worldwide events for Pokemon Go where like catch X amount of whatever Pokemon or whatever? Like, how would you feel about them implementing like hey, let's everybody pick so many apples this week or whatever?
They do well.
Like
to a much smaller extent, they do something like that. Sometimes they did fishing tournaments.
I know about the fishing tournaments. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'd be down for that. Sure. Anything to keep it interesting. Like you said, Nate, it can get repetitive really fast.
Yeah.
Depending on which Animal Crossing you're playing.
And how often you play.
So to avoid that as much as possible would be fantastic. I just don't like how Wild World handled it, where it was like you could pick. It was like on the day, like Sunday or something like that, Sunday Fun Day, or I forget what it was called, but there was like days where it was just designated for
happy hour.
It was designated for like kind of lame events, and then things would not happen on that day, and it was just like weak.
Yeah.
But definitely more stuff to do.
Yeah, happy hour where your screen goes a little bit fuzzy and you wander around not very straight.
What just happened? All right. I think that's the sign.
Just make the game better, Nintendo. Just make it better.
I think that's the sign we got to move on. I will say, if any of you guys out there have any of your own ideas for Animal Crossing, how they could make it absolutely amazing on Switch, let us know down in the comments. We are always reading through those comments and taking them seriously, trying to continue the conversation. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a future podcast where we bring your comments up in it when it ever gets announced.
Yeah.
I personally promise you, as the resident Animal Crossing nut, if you comment about Animal Crossing, I will engage with you. I will go look up the password for my YouTube account, and I will.
I know you know it because you commented on some stuff recently. So, unless that wasn't you.
No, that was me.
Okay.
That was me.
Okay, because I'm like, I hearted one of your comments, and I'd be really sad if it really wasn't you.
No, it was me. I don't remember my passwords at all. So, I have them all written down.
This is how
so
long
I will talk with you about Animal Crossing comments.
Okay, cool. We'll go to our next topic. That is about how the Switch has. We don't know if it's officially passed Wii U lifetime to date sales because we haven't really had an update since they threw out that 10 million number. We know it has passed the Wii U lifetime to date sales in Japan now. But again, worldwide, we have really no idea. We also know that Switch in general in the United States outsold the Wii in the first 10 months, becoming, Nintendo call it their fastest selling home console ever. People want to debate whether or not is it a home console, is it a hybrid, is it what is this thing? They keep calling it home console, so they're going to count it. I'm actually curious what their fastest selling 10-month item is. Because there must be a handheld that's sold faster if they specifically had to say home console. I don't know what it is. Maybe it was Game Boy. Who knows? But we also have to remember that the Wii U, with a kind of sort of similar concept, not really because they had off TV play, but like it was, you couldn't really get away from too far from the system, like more than 6 feet.
And the screen sucked.
And the screen was just not good. But in general, the Wii U flopped. And I'm actually just curious, like, why do we think the Switch is succeeding to up this point while the Wii U just no one really seemed to want it unless you were a hardcore fan?
It's just because it was marketed really badly when it first started out. And then on top of not being able to be recognized by the general consumer, because, I mean, I worked in retail when this thing was out, and so many parents did not know it existed. And the ones that did, they said, "Oh, do you have that Wii expansion?" It was a very real thing. I know that people mentioned it online, but it was very real. Like, people on the streets did not know what it was.
Yeah.
And then you get to the gaming hardcore, and I'm not talking about just Nintendo fans, but the passionate gaming fans in general. They liked to just bash on Wii U constantly for things like launching New Super Mario Brothers Wii U and stuff like that, and not having like the heavy hitters for a good long time. And so by the time like some really good games are coming out, like Smash 4, the ship has sailed for a lot of people.
Even Pikmin 3 didn't come out till like almost 11 months after launch.
I know.
And that was supposed to be a launch game.
Me.
There's a lot of things went wrong with Wii U.
Yeah, many things. It was multifaceted for sure.
A lot of the gamers, obviously, that are out there that just like to find anything to hate on other companies because it's not their favorite company or whatever. I think the Wii U did itself two disservices that aren't really talked about as often as they need to be, but were definitely prevalent back then. One, and when they announced Wii U, they called this a system for gamers. They said this is for hardcore gamers. This is what you guys have been asking for. And yes, they had the pad thing, and that kind of scared some people. Were like, but you know what? We can get past the pad if this is like this big next-gen system. And then it turned out that it was basically a 360/PlayStation 3 at a time when we knew there was going to be a PlayStation 4 and what became the Xbox One that was going to be significantly outclassing it in terms of capability, raw power-wise. And I feel like that unprecedented partnership with EA, and I feel like a lot of gamers that were like, okay, you know what, Nintendo has done this power game before. They've done it. They were knee deep in it up until Wii, so maybe they're doing it again, and we should give them some benefit of the doubt. And they tried to give them some benefit of the doubt, and then got completely burned when it came out what this system is. No, this is an APU that's a 360 with a gamepad. And it's like, okay, and we don't have any hardcore games in launch. And the ones we do that are from third parties don't run very well. And EA abandoned us before the thing launched. And yeah. So everything we promised you 2 years ago is not actually real. Or it was almost like Nintendo's like, yeah, if we just release a system that's the exact same as the systems out now and throw on a gamepad, we have a winner. We'll just use the Wii branding, which has nothing to do with hardcore gaming. And it was such a mixed message.
And this is making me depressed. This is making me remember a time when it was awful, Nintendo fan.
Yeah.
Well,
now we have it good. Whoa, Switch breaking records, great games. But back then,
I feel so bad too because, like, again, the Wii U did not do well, and this was the cycle where Nintendo was like, let's bring back all the franchises that we were kind of worried about. Let's give them some time to shine. Let's bring out Pikmin. Let's bring out Star Fox. And everyone was just so ready to bash bash on anything on the Wii U, that these things just got immediately shut down or not talked about. And I'm like, no, please. Well, like this, if this was on Switch, maybe Pikmin would have had like that rise that it always needed.
And I was thrown out there.
Good Animal Crossing didn't release on Switch.
Wii U killed the Wonderful 101.
Yeah.
That game is fantastic. But that kind of game, because it's such kind of a I don't want to say it's a niche game, but it's a kind of game that it's going to get around through word of mouth. There just wasn't enough people who owned a Wii U to buy it to get word of mouth out. Like, you weren't seeing, YouTubers live streaming it and being excited about trying this new quirky franchise out of Platinum Games. And that kind of felt the way like Nintendo. Oh, we're bringing back Star Fox. Oh, it's got these motion controls. Like, no one's just giving it a chance. Like, it was always an excuse with Wii U not to buy it.
Right.
If you even knew what it was, the marketing issue was a very real issue. I know my parents when I bought one, they're like, so you bought an accessory for your Wii? I'm like, no, it's a new console, Mom. But I looked at the box, it's just a gamepad. Okay, I mean, yeah, it's bad marketing. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not Nintendo.
Yeah.
There's another box in there, Mom. Because my mom loved Wii and she was considering getting one, and I told her, just don't. I mean, I'm not saying it to be mean, Mom, but like, there's not anything on here you want to play.
But you know what's funny too is a big thing amongst my friends who are not hardcore Nintendo fans. They would oftentimes complain about the gamepad, be like, "Oh, it's so big and bulky. I don't want to touch it." And blah blah blah. It's too cumbersome. It's too heavy. And all this thing, it feels awkward in my hands. I'm like, all right. But then when Switch came along, the marketing was perfect for this system.
Oh, yeah.
They hyped it out correctly. They took care of all the issues. So like, if you don't like the gamepad, you can just remove it and just play it like a little TV. Suddenly, my friends who are bashing on the gamepad are playing these games on what is essentially a thinner gamepad. And I don't bring it to their attention, but in my head, I'm like, it's all about how you just perceive it,
Yeah, well,
right.
It has a better design, first of all.
The Switch has a sex appeal to it.
Better marketing.
There's a massive sex appeal to the way Switch is designed that I didn't even realize it until I saw when they first showed it off a little bit in October of 2016 when they had that unveiling, and I'm just like, that just made my Wii U gamepad look like a Fisher-Price toy.
That was going around a lot too.
As I own the gamepad, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I never really realized how much this thing looked like a kid's toy until I saw an actual real-life gaming tablet that looked legit as hell, and is not something you would ever think Nintendo would do.
Mm-hmm.
And
it looks like something
that appeals to adults. I'm like, they made a device that it looks like an adult would not be embarrassed actually holding it in public.
Yep.
And like the Wii U gamepad, I'm like, I'm looking at the tablets my kids have. I'm like,
you're right.
This is what my kids play on. Why am I playing with this thing? Oh, right, because this is Nintendo's home console, and they didn't really give me another option. And I actually talked about this. Actually, one of our most popular videos we've ever done is a very, very early video at Nintendo Prime. We did one of those what if series, like alternative history. What if the Wii U would have released in 2010, and instead of being focused on this gamepad and being this Wii for You thing, basically it was that it would focus on being an HD Wii. Mm-hmm. Because that was kind of the big calling card. Is this was Nintendo? Like, this is why I bought it. It was their first HD system. I wanted to play Nintendo games in HD. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if Nintendo knew that if they were, because they had to know, they had to have been developing this for a while, that we're going to release a system that's basically on par with what's currently out there, when we know what's currently out there is going to be getting replaced soon. Or maybe Nintendo's just that oblivious and didn't think PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 was getting replaced anytime soon. I hope that they're not that stupid. But Nintendo has proven that they don't really pay attention to anyone else but themselves. I mean, they've openly actually stated that at times. There's some statements that come out of interviews in Japan that you're like, wait, you just now heard about universal accounts? That's been a thing for 20 years. How do you just hear about this in 2015? I'm confused. Yeah. This shouldn't be a shocking thing to you. Do you have a smartphone? It uses a universal account. It's like,
either their own drone.
Do you use email? Do you use email? It's all universal. It's just like, man, how could you be like Nintendo just really does not pay that much attention to the rest of the industry. I know they say they do, but it's pretty obvious they really don't if it's not in their bubble. Like I think they pay close attention to like Vita and PSP, but that's because the one market Nintendo has always been the unquestioned leader in is the handheld market. So they're like, oh, someone's trying to challenge us. We better watch. We got this.
I think it's largely due to the fact that when they went to the beat of their own drum with the Wii, and it was a massive success. And so they thought, lightning can strike twice, no problem. We're Nintendo. And
like
I think the Wii U was a wake up call.
Sure.
It's like a lesson.
Definitely.
Well, that's the thing. Like I always felt like if they released, 'cause I don't know how much you guys cared, but back in the day, Michael Pachter kept saying they need to do a Wii HD, and I was just laughing at it. And I just kept saying, you know what? After in hindsight, I'm like, you know what? If they had released a Wii HD that was basically the Wii U, but just called Wii HD. So very clearly, people know, hey, this is a new system. It plays all your old Wii games, but in HD. Mm-hmm. Then they release HD texture packs that you have to download. You can stick your Wii games in it and still play them, but so you have to download the texture pack. Whatever. It's not really that much different than the way it is now with Xbox One X and PlayStation 4 Pro. You put in your PlayStation 4, your Xbox One game, you install it, then you have to download the texture pack. I feel like it might have actually taken off a bit better, even if they included that cumbersome gamepad, because it would have been one of those, we're throwing in this gamepad so you could try out a new way to play, but it's a Wii HD. You already own all the Wii accessories. Mm-hmm. You already own all the Wii games. Now you get to play them in HD just like all the other systems out there that have HD. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that would have been a great appeal, because instead of it being like, you can play your Wii games in a separate thing, like we basically put a Wii inside of the Wii U that you have to load separately to play your Wii games. Just really cumbersome. And I'm like, I kept thinking, I don't know that it would have been a massive hit. It definitely wouldn't have been a Wii 100 million units. Mm-hmm. But they easily could have pushed, 40 million of them, because there would have been plenty of people saying, you know what? Yeah, I have HD TVs now. It would be cool to play my Wii games in HD now. And that they didn't do that. That was basically the gist of my what if video, is they should have did that instead. If they knew that they were just going to release a 360 with a gamepad, they'd be like, look, there's a way you could have done it that might have actually worked. You would have had to release it a little earlier than maybe you wanted to, but you wouldn't have also lost all of your Wii momentum yet. And you could have actually reinvigorated your Wii momentum before even Skyward Sword came out. Skyward Sword could have been like your lead, hey, this is our first like HD Wii game day one coming out. That would have been like huge. That would have came out like a year after this would have launched. Mm-hmm.
Maybe people would have liked Skyward Sword better.
That too, and it could have. Then that could have bridged the gap for because we didn't get new systems from Xbox One and PlayStation. I guess PlayStation 4 and Xbox One didn't come out until 2013, so we would have had 3 years of running HD games. And then Nintendo could have even extended that for maybe an extra year or two, and that's when they could have been thinking about something like Switch. Now, obviously, we have to wonder, would Switch even exist if Wii U didn't do what it did? I don't know. I hope so. Because a lot of people think that Switch is kind of like the full realization of what Wii U tried to be. I tend to think that's probably what reality is, because we just got done saying Nintendo doesn't pay attention to anything. But to me, Switch feels like the full realization of what Sony wanted the Vita to be. And it didn't work out for Sony. This isn't me throwing shade at Sony, but it didn't work out for Sony because they were trying to support 2 platforms. And you can't have like this system that you're calling a portable console, play console quality games on the go, but then still have this other console that plays completely different games that plays them better. Like that's it's working for Nintendo because this is it. They have no other more powerful machine on the market. Mm-hmm. And that's the only way you could do it. And Sony was never going to be like, oh, we're abandoning underbox TV stuff to do the Vita. They were never going to. Yeah. Nintendo would do a risk like this, but not Sony. Especially since Sony was also, for all of Sony's success, they are not necessarily always in the best financial situation. Mm-hmm. Mostly, not because of their PlayStation division. It's mostly they've made some poor choices with some of their tech. But it is what it is. They bounce back now. PlayStation 4 really helped. So I think they sell insurance now too. I think that's actually one of their. I think that's actually good. Yeah,
insurance.
Sony sells insurance, and it's like one of their biggest profit makers of the company. It's really weird. Like, yes, I want to get Sony car insurance, but whatever, it's working for them.
It'd be a shame if that PlayStation 4 slashed your tires, right? Might want to buy that insurance.
You might want to buy that. So
Oh God! Now Jay Leno's working for for Sony.
we briefly talked. Jeez.
Sorry.
So we briefly touched upon what Switch did a little bit better, right? Better design that was appealing with obviously better marketing. Is there anything else Switch did that kind of made consumers be like, okay, we got to pick this thing up?
Just the games.
Yeah, the games. I mean, definitely Breath of the Wild being so hyped up and then being a launch title for the Switch just helped a lot. And then
Much
with
to the
Mario
chagrin of
Odyssey
some Wii U
gaining
owners.
headlines in the mainstream media, you saw celebrities being like, oh, Mario. Yeah, I remember that. Let's play that. I'm going to get a Switch. So combined with Zelda and Mario and just the onslaught of third-party support, that definitely hasn't hurt the Switch.
That's putting it lightly. Yeah, and I hate to admit it, but it's just Mario and Zelda is the bread and butter, and I, as a hardcore Nintendo fan, love to see things like Star Fox and Pikmin. I'd prefer that, but it's just not what brings people in, and Nintendo recognized that for this console launch, and they were just like, let's do a heavy hitter Zelda at the start and then a heavy hitter Mario at the end for the launch year of our new console, which is is that completely unprecedented? I feel like it is. I feel like even Mario Galaxy took a while to come out.
Well, the
launch of
2017 was unprecedented. Nintendo's never had a release slate like that, especially if we want to just look at home consoles, where you launch with one of your biggest games from one of your biggest IPs that also kind of sort of reinvented the wheel for that franchise. Then you have another game in Mario that comes out, at the holiday season. And also, we can't just forget this. They brought over Mario Kart, which is one of the best sellers on the platform, 2 months after launch. And it's a Mario Kart that a lot of people didn't play because they didn't buy Wii U. It was a really brilliant first Wii U port. And then
it's a great Mario Kart game, the best in years.
Lots of people did play it, though.
Yeah.
To be honest.
it was one of the most popular games on Wii U.
Yeah, it was so popular. At least from my own experience, it was so popular that lots of people that did not care about Wii U were searching out the hardcore Nintendo fans just so that everyone could get together and play the game.
Sure.
And I mean, that happened to me in 3 different occasions.
Yeah.
Remember when everyone said Switch had no games? That was a fun time.
Yeah, they kept saying that. Actually, they still say it. I don't.
Yeah,
it just depends on what your interests are.
It's
I'm not Fire Emblem. I do like Fire Emblem, but I don't like the Warriors game. So passed on that.
I mean, we didn't mention it too much, but like Splatoon 2, a brilliant summer release, probably the brightest thing that come out of the Wii U era, that brand new IP. Who knows the kind of legs that game has, because it's never been on a popular piece of hardware. And that was why, oh my gosh, the thing sold 4 million units, or I think it was 3.6 million units or whatever.
Yeah, it did incredibly well.
On Wii U, and you're like, wait, a new IP sold 3.6 million units on the Wii U? And it's selling well in Japan, where they don't even buy home consoles? What?
Whoa.
Whoops.
Oh, let's bring it to a portable. Now it's the best selling in the franchise history, because there's only 2 games. But it's one of the best selling. I mean, it sold over 4 million units. Who knows where it's going to end? It could be a 6 or 7 million unit seller on its second game. And that also, because of the success of Splatoon during the Wii U era, it gave them the balls to make ARMS. Yeah. Whether or not you like it, it's still like an arena, unique take on a fighting genre that you just don't see a lot of companies take a risk with, because fighting games, you're basically either a known entity and you sell okay, or you just bomb. That's kind of the way it works in the fighting game.
I mean, ARMS is unique. ARMS is cool. I mean, the Joy-Con combat is amazing.
It moved to like 1.5 million units or something like that. Might hit 2 million by the end of when they. Because they just now stopped most of the support. You can still play online and everything, but they released the final character, and the final free, because they were doing free updates to it like they did with Splatoon 2. But I still feel like it might creep up over this next year and hit that 2 million mark. But that's still incredible for people are like, oh, that's not very good in comparison to Splatoon. No, go look at the sales of fighting games. They don't sell well. So ARMS is actually performing quite well.
Yeah, Street Fighter HD sold really well too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just depends on what you're looking for, I suppose. There's a lot of games that I passed on for Switch, but even I will never make the claim that they don't have any games. You know?
Yeah. Oh, and we have to always throw out there this rarely gets talked about because when people talk about games on platforms, they usually talk about like the AAA space. Can't forget the indies. The indie support for Switch
indies are
year one.
killing it.
I don't even know what's happening. We're hearing reports. Oh yeah, so I put my game on sale on Switch today for like $2 off, and it sold 300,000 copies in 24 hours. You're like,
Yeah.
What? I don't even
Indies
go to
get
the
the
sale
love they
page.
deserve.
Yeah.
I mean, when they're released on Steam, it's just, a pool of games, so many games released every day. But when indies are released on Switch, it seems like they get their proper respect and sales that maybe they deserve. So it's more incentive for other indie developers to release their games on Switch.
By the way, most of my purchases on the Switch so far have been indie games. They're
incredible. They're incredible.
There's such good variety on there.
I mean, and Nintendo's even killing it with the few exclusive indie games they get. It's like Golf Story, incredible. That is, I mean, as hyped as I am for like the Mario Tennis game coming to Switch, Golf Story was Mario Golf RPG. They brought back in a new package, and it's like Nintendo recognized that. They said, "Oh my gosh, we had a game that used to be like this. Let's support this and make this exclusive on our platform." And they did it. They supported it. I'm assuming the support came obviously with Nintendo funding a little bit of it. Otherwise, why would an indie make it exclusive to Switch? At least long haul. But it's incredible, the indie support. I mean, and I know some people say, "Oh, well, like Stardew Valley was one of the big ones, and that came out." Oh, yeah, you're right. It's getting older indie ports because the system didn't even release back then.
I'm still waiting for my Starbound port. Gosh, I want Starbound on Switch. That'd be perfect.
Got Elliot Quest back on there, which is one of my favorite indie games.
Elliot Quest. Yeah, it's just incredible. Like every day when I'm just surfing Twitter, I'll see an indie put out there like, "So just released a new game on Switch, and in less than 24 hours, it's outsold the combined sales of every platform that we put it on." And it's just like, I don't know who these people are buying these indie games.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm one of them. I have several indie games.
Crazy Nintendo fans.
And then a lot of people say, "Well, people are buying indie games because there's nothing else to play." I'm like, or they're just buying them because they're really damn good. And
I mean, I'm not even a huge indie fan, but I have bought a couple indie games like Kingdom New Lands.
Well, I think what's helped the indie game scene on Switch is that while we're getting a consistent slate of major releases, because we don't have full AAA third-party support yet, they're not being drowned out.
Yeah.
I feel like marketing and hype-wise on Switch, like on other platforms, I should say, it feels like every week there's some sort of AAA game coming out. Whereas on Switch, it's like, yeah, we have one or two a month. In between, it's time to hype up the indies. And I feel like also it feels weird saying this because the audience was also small, but I think Nintendo Switch has kind of captured the Vita audience as well. Because a lot of people were playing Vita for the indie games. Because we get these amazing indie games kind of sort of in HD on the go. That's what we want. But the platform's not very popular, so we're not getting as many indies as we want. And now here's Switch getting all the indies. Like if you're an indie developer making a game, if you're not considering Switch, you are potentially killing your game if you put it on the market and don't put it on Switch right now. Like there's such a strong market for it. And to credit, like I know some people have been critical of how the eShop is set up on Switch. I like it. It's super easy to navigate, super clean to find new games. They do not treat AAA games any different than indie games. They're all in the same list. There's no giant ads popping up at the top of the recent releases like, "Oh, you need to go buy this new game from EA or whatever." Like, no. They're all treated the same. Pokemon Tournament DX gets DLC. Nintendo obviously makes a significant chunk of money off of that title, and nope, that's not even the most recent released game. It's an indie game. It's a couple spots back.
I think a big thing is that it's incredibly accessible. It's like my experience is I'll just like go to bed and just like relax. My intention is to play Minecraft before I fall asleep.
Sure.
But instead, like I'll be like, before I start, let me just check out the shop channel, and it loads up immediately.
Yeah.
It's just like it's so easy to just casually look through the list of games that they have available before I move on to something else. It's like I don't. Whereas before it was like you had to wait like 40 seconds for it to load.
Sure. It wasn't very intuitive. I mean, also people say, "Oh, I missed the music." I'm like, okay. I mean, that's.
You also had to be strapped to the couch when it was the Wii U and the Wii. So like with this, it's like you could be anywhere in the house. You can be very relaxed, and it can be very easy to get onto the shop.
Yeah, when you see all the recent releases, you could check it every single day if you want. There seems to always be new content coming out. They have an easy to navigate side menu where you can go to, hey, what games are on sale?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have easy to navigate. I don't know if I like these games, but I can start searching by genre. I can organize everything by genre and find, like, it's not, excuse me, I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's one of the best, I guess, shopping experiences I've had in an online marketplace in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like on Steam, I mean, it's all about, is Steam promoting you or not? If they're not promoting you, you're basically not going to get discovered and you're not going to sell. Whereas Nintendo's just like, look, we're treating every game the same.
Right.
We don't care if it's one of our games. We don't care if it's a $2 game being ported from a phone. Everyone's getting equal treatment. We're not being like the Apple Store and giving priority to certain apps or editor's choices or like, no, none of that.
Yeah, it just goes back to what I was saying. I mean, indie games get the love, support they deserve on Switch, which I think is great for the indie scene, definitely.
And I don't know why companies aren't more like this with their shops, because they make royalty fees on all these games.
Mm-hmm.
So shouldn't they want them to sell well?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Nintendo needs marketing on the eShop to sell Mario Odyssey.
I'm
Right.
sure, like with some of these other ones, they can actually influence what's it called, ad space,
Sure.
on the front pages and stuff. And then they
Yeah,
also
yeah.
just companies in general, like Nintendo in the past, would highly prioritize their own IPs.
Yes.
Which was just, it was a mistake. It was, but like I remember clearly seeing that with the Switch.
Remember the Wii U? It wouldn't even be on, and suddenly the gamepad would wake up in the middle of the night with an ad for a new game from Nintendo.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it didn't happen very often because the releases were pretty thin at times. But when it did happen, you're like, okay, so you're telling me to go buy your game. Then I go to the shop and I see these like 5 big blocks, and all of them are Nintendo games. It's like, are there any other games on here? Oh, wait, if I go sort by this, there's all the recent releases.
Right.
It was just very unintuitive. Same with the 3DS even. And obviously the 3DS is just slow. It's just old hardware. It's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Switch is just snap. Like, it feels like, I can't think, we talked in the past in this podcast, like, what could they do to improve the Switch? And there's obviously things they could fix and make better. Like, we're still waiting for the launch of their online system that they said was supposed to launch at the end of last year. Now they're saying it's supposed to launch this year. First they said like beginning of 2018, and it's like, no, just 2018 in general. And you're like, okay, what's going on?
I guess this would be off topic, but yeah, the one thing that I can think right off the top of my head is more apps for like I want the YouTube app and I want the Netflix app, and it's
I don't know why that's all been like. They got the Hulu one out, so it's like, oh, I thought
Right.
when Hulu came on,
Man,
well, I'm like,
Hulu.
floodgates are going to open, right? Like, Hulu's out, all right, cool. So within the next few weeks, we're going to get Netflix, YouTube, Amazon, blah blah blah, and we just haven't, and I don't know why. I mean,
Yeah, man,
we've heard
where's my
rumors.
Voodoo app?
We've heard rumors that like the Netflix app has been ready for over 6 months, and Nintendo
Sure.
is just like, you can't release it yet, but yet they let Hulu release. I don't know if there was a money exchange that allowed Hulu to release.
There had to be exclusivity.
Yeah.
It had to be.
Yeah, there had to, because like I can't think of like the Nico app has been launched in Japan forever. So why don't we have YouTube here? I hope Nintendo's
desperately
not
want
telling them
YouTube.
that like, hey, you have to pay if you want your media app on here. Don't do that, Nintendo.
Like YouTube, to a lot of people, they're probably thinking like, "Oh, who cares?" But for me, like, I don't have anything hooked up to my big screen TV in the living room besides my Switch. So if I have the YouTube app on my Switch, I can watch YouTube videos off of my TV.
Yeah. Well,
I'm waiting.
when people say they don't care, I always say this: it's about convenience. It's about user convenience. Like, all of my TVs in my house have a smart TV functionality to them, but it's still annoying switching between inputs. It's not that it's, oh my god, this is like the worst thing ever. I've been dealing with this stuff as a gamer just in general for my entire life, but there is such a convenience, especially now that like we've cut the cord and all of our TV services are now streaming. To be able to do it all through one device is convenient. Now, obviously, there's the whole, oh, you want to watch Netflix and play your Switch. That's fine. I can do that when I want to. But there's times when I don't want to play a game and watch Netflix. I just want to watch Netflix. And if I don't have to switch off, like if I'm playing a game and whatever, like think about this convenience as well. Like you're sitting there playing a game on your couch and you're like doing whatever. And you're like, okay, cool. Well, I want to watch. Oh, look, the final season of House of Cards launched. I kind of want to watch that. Well, let me just tap on my Wii U. It's already playing. Let me just dock that thing quick, and then boom, it's on my TV. I don't have to do anything else.
Right.
It's all about options and convenience, and sometimes we don't get that.
Yeah, but I mean, for me personally, I mean, it would be more of a hassle to have Netflix on Switch because then you got to use the controller to type in everything, and it's like, oh, come on. So, I mean, I have a smart TV where there's a Netflix button on it.
Sure.
There's a Roku built in. Like, it's awesome. I can just hit the button, bam, Netflix is there.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather do that than have to, like, go to the Netflix app on the Switch and then, use the D-pad to...
User choice.
Yeah, I in my rare situation, for some reason, the YouTube app stopped working on my smart TV, and there's no way to reset it whatsoever or update it, so it's just borked forever. So now I need it more than ever on my Switch.
As I said, it's all about user convenience and preference, right? Like no one has to. I understand when it's I don't need these apps. I have a zillion. That's fine,
right?
But there are some people that would
people
use it.
want them. I mean, I hope YouTube, Netflix, and those apps come. I won't use them.
Here's the thing.
A lot of other people will.
When people say like, "Oh, we don't want them," it's why. Well, what inconvenience is it to you? Just don't use it.
Right.
Exactly.
It doesn't cost Nintendo anything because the download's coming off of the Netflix and stuff servers. They're paying for all that stuff, so it costs Nintendo nothing. You're using your own local internet. What if someone just says, you know what, I'm playing with my Switch in here in my bedroom. I don't really want to turn on the big TV to watch TV right now because it's just too bright, and it's just I'm trying to relax and fall asleep. But let me just play some Netflix on my Switch quick that I'm already holding.
Think about it. Netflix anywhere you want.
I mean, because like people do that on their phones, right? Like all of us have played some streaming stuff on our phones in bed, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, but if we have our
now
Switch
on a bigger screen.
Well, imagine that, like, we are using not only a bigger screen here with Switch to do that, but we still can use our phone.
There you go, yeah.
This has been my argument against their stupid online chat the whole time, is that now I can't use my dang phone when I want to voice chat online. Oh, anyways, that's a debate for another time. All right, we also
that's for next week.
Got way off topic. As I said, Switch isn't perfect.
Right, for sure.
But it's done so much better than Wii U because it got a lot of things right. From game lineup to console design to console name to marketing,
actual portability, actual portability.
It's like that's the ingenuity of it by far, is like taking it anywhere, and you're just like, wow. It hits you every time you do it. You're like, wow, right? I am nowhere near home and I am playing a full experience game like Mario Odyssey. This is incredible.
Yeah, like I'm on the train and I'm playing Skyrim. Whoa, this is great.
Yeah, that novelty still hasn't worn off of me. There's still like times where I'm like miles away from home, boot up the Switch, I'm like, this is really convenient. Like I'm waiting in line at Universal and I'm like, what? I'm playing Mario Odyssey at Universal. This is
imagine
great.
You know what, here's the crazy thing. If we because we can't afford, to be honest, we can't afford to go to E3 this year. It's just it's an expensive trip for us. We're from Wisconsin, so it's just it's completely inconvenient for us to go. So we're trying to see if our fan base will support us. And by the way, we'll have links on in the description if you would like to help us go to E3. No pressure. You don't need to give any money or anything. It's just
do it. I'm giving you the pressure.
We're not going for our benefit. We're going for the benefit of you guys.
Right.
We want to create a ton of content. Like the only other time we went was back in 2016 at Zelda Informer, and great. It was a great year to go as a Zelda website.
Right.
But it was for somebody else and for helping them, and it wasn't for us. And we could only really make certain pieces of content on Zelda. Whereas now, if we got to go to the E3 from this past year, imagine how crazy that would have been.
Right.
With Odyssey and all the other games. And all the content we can make.
I'm just going to say this, Nate, if I can.
Sure.
Having worked with you for a while.
Yeah.
That the year you went to E3 and I steered the ship as Zelda Informer, basically all you did was work. There was no pleasure. I mean, it's like, I'm at E3. This is great. I get to play demos. But, I mean, you were there to work. You were there to make content happen.
Well, and Eric knows he was with the only, maybe the most, outside of the fact that the Breath of the Wild was fantastic, so
Right.
I enjoyed
Right.
every moment I touched that game.
Oh yeah,
Well, not
definitely.
every moment. I had some frustrations, but talked about this in prior podcasts before with how certain things went down on the show floor. But
we didn't have problems with the actual game itself.
not the game itself. And then there was, like, my only enjoyable moment was on our final day before we got on the plane. We went down to the beach for, like, it wasn't even that long. It was like a half hour.
Yeah.
Because that's all the time we had.
But we did go to the Brewer game, too.
We did go to the Brewer game. That was the first night or second night. No,
Something like that,
First
yeah.
full night that we
Yeah.
were there. Because we didn't get
Yep.
into the hotel till like 2 a.m.
Right.
On, like, the first day of E3, by the way. So not a lot of sleep that night.
No.
That's for sure. But yeah, it was like, outside of that Brewer game, it was not a fun trip, I'd say, for me personally. Because it was work. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. That's why I went.
Right.
So, like, when people, because I had someone mention in a comment that, like, why should we pay for you or help you pay to go on a trip that we want to go on to? I'm like, well, go to it if you want. It's $1,000 for a ticket. I get in for free because I'm a member of the media, because I'm there to do a job, and I'm one of the few members of the media that seems to stand on those lines that's actually there to do a job. I think a lot of YouTubers and stuff just go just for fun. And that's good for them. I'm
Yeah.
there to work, man. I'm there
Yeah,
to make content.
sure.
I'm there to get videos. I'm there to get interviews. I'm there to collaborate with people that I normally can't collaborate with because I'm in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Outside of like C&D, there's not really any other YouTubers out here. And C&D is always on the road because he's a vlogger. Now he bought an RV. So
Nice.
the chance of me actually ever doing content with him is slim to none. I think he spends more time out of Wisconsin than in Wisconsin now. But it's just a crazy microcosm of I'm not going there for pleasure. I mean, I'm not saying there's not moments that I, like say I met She Says over there and we ended up collaborating on a podcast or something in person. That would be fantastic.
Right. I mean, that
But-
was also fun, too, though, in making the podcast.
The podcast was fun, but it was so much work.
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
All the setup on the audio, trying to coordinate everything with the crazy traffic during rush hour.
Right.
Even setting up the hotel room to be presentable.
They had to park like 6 blocks away to just walk to.
And when we all got to finally eat dinner, it's like
Yeah.
it's like 3 hours old. And
Oh,
cold
that was the
and
most enjoyable part of the
most
whole
enjoyable
trip.
part was the pizza.
It was the
The
pizza.
So obviously, yeah, there are a lot of hurdles with
Oh, yeah.
trying to do that during
Yeah, well,
E3.
that's the thing. Like when you go to E3, and this is I don't know how clear I can make this to people. My trip to E3 is not about fun. I'm not saying I won't try to have fun, but it's about creating the best possible content I can for our subscribers. I'm there for you guys. I am there on your behalf to get you the kind of content you might not get from other YouTubers that are just going there for fun, just going there to vlog the event. Like, that's fine. You can enjoy that content, but I'm there to get you not just like gameplay footage of the demos. I'm trying to find the cool crap in the demos that you're not finding from other people.
Right.
To give you an example, I was one of the first YouTubers in the world to post up a video defeating Step Talus in Breath of the Wild.
Uh-huh.
At
Would have been
time.
the first.
Became
but-
Stone Talus or whatever, but I would have been the first person in the world because I actually beat it day one the first time we played the demo. No, second time we played the
Yes.
demo day one. But the Nintendo rep that was holding the camera decided to put it down because they were throwing this big hissy fit on how they don't want to hold the camera and they have to tell me how to play the game, even though I kept saying I'm from Zelda Informer. I don't need to be told how to play a Zelda game.
Right.
And she said, and then she even asked another rep, like, can I do that? Can I hold the camera? Like, yeah, that's what they want you to do. Hold the camera. Like, you're there for them. And she set down the camera right when I killed the thing. I'm like,
Right.
I'm like, so thanks for not getting the footage. Then we tried getting another day, and the
By that time, it was-
person didn't even hit record on the phone. He held it up the whole time, but never hit the record button.
Oh boy.
So, like, by the time we got it, was the final day, and we still were. I think we were the second. Like at that point, Nintendo Treehouse hadn't even beat it on stream yet.
Yeah.
Okay, they had died to him several times, and so we got the video up. We ended up getting it up just after the Treehouse defeated him. Like the same day the Treehouse defeated, we got our video up. It ended up becoming one of the most popular videos we've ever posted. Not because of any of us like trying to push it to be popular, but because it was unique content at the time,
Right.
that no other YouTuber had because they weren't able to do it. And I'm not saying I could always do that. Obviously, I have a special affinity for Zelda. The thing is, I haven't beat a Lionel yet in Breath of the Wild, so
Well, and then
thank God
also-
there was no Lionels for me to try to beat. You know what? If there was a Lionel in that demo, I would have took the time and kicked its butt.
Right.
I played that demo like 7 times at
Yeah.
E3. I would have pulled it off. But that's the thing. That's the kind of content you look forward to. Like, I'm not just going there, oh, let me show you off this new level. And no, I'm going to find that one thing in that level that no one else is doing, and I'm going to do it. Because I want to bring exclusive, unique content.
Well, and that's also what helps with having both of us there, is that you go off one direction, I go off the other.
Especially,
like, hey, look at this.
Especially at an event here where, now I'm assuming this E3 there's going to be multiple games to play.
Right. It also helped that it was specifically just Breath of the Wild.
But
so
we're a lot better prepared. So like when I say we're going there for you guys, man. We want to get content that you're not going to find anywhere else. Plus, imagine how amazing the Nintendo Prime podcast is going to be when we have 4 people in person that have all experienced the same things.
Whoa.
Or maybe different things. Because Breath of the Wild was cool because we all experienced different things. But like when someone says, we don't care because you're just going to talk about the news anyway. So you're right. We'll report the news. Maybe. I don't know. When I'm at the event, I'm too busy trying to organize content. I don't know if I'd actually have videos of reporting the news. Unless Darren wants to come back and get on camera. But it's one of those. It's just one of those events that I'm not going there for me. It's not my benefit. I mean, maybe it is because maybe the channel grows from it, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's growing because of the awesome content. That's why I don't want this channel growing because of our giveaways we do or anything like that. I want it to grow from the content. So a lot of you guys out there, when you say, because we have a lot of fans that say, I don't understand why your YouTube channel is not bigger. This is an opportunity for it to become bigger.
Right.
By bringing this exclusive content that you're not getting elsewhere. But you know what? Speaking of exclusive content.
Nice segue.
Mario Party is one of my all-time favorite Nintendo franchises. It really is.
All-time favorite.
All-time.
Oh my goodness.
Until Mario Party 5. After that, like Mario Party 5 was really good. Then 6, 7, 8, everything after that's just been crap. In my opinion, I'm sure some of you guys have picked out ones you like. Maybe you like some of the Wii mini games or whatever.
Mario Party 800.
They just came out with Mario Party Top 100 on 3DS, which I think is blasphemous. It's on 3DS. It should be a Switch game, but it is what it is.
Wait, it's not?
No.
Okay. No. I'm done.
I'm done. And the Mario Party Top 100 was all about, obviously, the top 100 mini games of all time. And it was really heavily built on nostalgia. Like, okay, all the mini games that you actually loved growing up, we have them in one game. And that's fine for a premise. I think the game was just okay in general. I mean, it had game boards and stuff. It was just okay. It definitely didn't show they learned anything about why Mario Party really hasn't been that relevant for a long time, why they can't get the sales it used to get. So what I want to talk about, I guess, is, if a Mario Party game, because I don't even know if one's going to come to Switch, if Top 100 didn't sell well, they might be like, maybe we need to just take a break. What can they do to Mario Party to make it relevant again in 2018, 2019, 2020? Like,
honestly, party games as a genre, are they even that popular anymore?
Yeah, I'd say so.
When
like
they're done
Mario
well.
Kart.
When they're done well.
When they're done well, which a Mario Party game hasn't been done well in a while.
Exactly. So how can they do it well? What can they do to make it good again? Because,
I think, I really don't find anything inherently wrong with any of the Mario Party games, to be honest. Like, there's ones where it's like, oh, I like the mini games from this one better than that, and that's just how it is. Oftentimes the boards are not really that important to me.
Sure.
I think a way to reinvigorate the series would be to add more players to play at once. So like Mario Party, we what was it, 9 or 10 that ended up being on the Wii U.
Yep.
That one introduced 5-player mode with Bowser, and that was kind of a cool gimmick. But honestly, I think if you could get like 8 players connected to one game, that would probably bring in a lot more people. I think when you get like a lot of people together and you have like one couch, you oftentimes have 5 people or 6 people.
Sure.
And if you can boost up that number, then there's a real incentive to get everyone involved and play the game.
Sure.
But like outside of that, I can't think of anything. I think it would be really cool if they offered a new Art style, like I'd rather they stop doing the canned art style from the Mario franchise.
Sure,
and bring
yeah.
in something.
Bring in something unique. Like even if you go cell shaded or something, just do something different.
Make
stuff
Mario
stand
look
out.
a little bit different.
Yeah,
you know.
It's hard for me because obviously it starts with the mini games. You have to have great mini games. And I'm not going to say there hasn't been great mini games since Mario Party 5. It just hasn't been, I feel like, at the consistency that it was then, where it was. There's always that one mini game you don't want to play, but it felt like, at least to me, in every Mario Party game since 5, there's like 75% of the mini games I don't want to play because they're just not fun.
Right.
And if they're not fun, then I almost dread when a mini game is going to happen because I'm like, I'm not going to get the one that's fun.
Has the total number of mini games gone up, like within the game itself, or do they
around the same?
Has it been?
Yeah, I was
going to
say it stays about the same.
Maybe they just need a break. Maybe they just need to take a breather and step back and be like, okay, what makes the Mario Party franchise good?
Mm-hmm.
What makes the games that people like? Why do they like them? What makes the good mini games?
Right, and the answer to that is bringing people together.
Sure,
that's at the end of it. At the end of it all, it's getting everyone to participate, and then you get mad at your friends and all that stuff, and you know.
Well, and the thing is,
you'll never be able to sell a single player Mario Party game, and that's every time you
It's
put
a party.
it on a
It's
handheld,
got
that's
party in the
essentially
name.
the doom you're trying to set.
It's got a party in the name. It's meant for multiplayer. I mean, it should have online play and all that stuff. That's fine.
right?
But,
Yeah, the online play I think would be big.
You know, like she says over there was like, talking about how like the boards don't matter that much. I think that's actually part of the reason that it hasn't been that fun is because back in the day we didn't think about the boards, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's because the boards just worked. It was a simplistic system that made sense. Like when you play Mario Party Top 100, you get in the board, everyone's trying to get the star, like normal. But the game is very, very cheap about it and just starts like randomly handing out tons of stars in the middle of the game to the point that it feels like, why are you even playing? And I went back and I was like, is this new? No, this has been happening in some of the other ones like Wii U and Wii, and I'm just like, this is.
It doesn't actually feel like an accomplishment.
Well,
when you
yeah,
actually
because when you play Mario Party, because we have to realize how Mario Party is set up for those who haven't played it is it's a board game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a board game that has mini games attached to it. Obviously, we talk a lot about the mini games, but there are other aspects of Mario Party besides the mini games. That's just what it's most well known for. Hence, Mario Party Top 100, which is the top 100 mini games. In Nintendo's opinion, I don't know how they came up with the list because they included some that are just not good. In my opinion, obviously, maybe some other people enjoy it. This isn't Mario Party, but I want that Ekans ring toss from Pokemon Stadium to come back. I love that mini game.
Hell yeah, definitely.
That minigame was fun. Speaking of that, we need to have a topic on the new Pokemon Stadium Coliseum someday. I don't know why we haven't had a topic on that yet.
Right.
Anyways, maybe
Next
Pokemon on Switch when that comes out. Perfect time to be like, hey, Nintendo, thanks for Pokemon on Switch. Let's segue.
Yeah.
Let's segue into it.
Speaking of things that are perfect for Switch, I mean Mario Party in general. I mean, just being able to split off the Joy-Con.
Joy-Cons,
like, let's play a party game.
Yeah.
Like here, I'll split this Joy-Con
Like,
off. You take this one, I'll take this one.
There's so many viable control options. Like you can attach that GameCube adapter. There's 4 controllers right there.
Well, they got rid of that support now.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
No, I played it just the other day.
Did you really? They must have added it back in with the last system update. Because when they put it in, it was a whoops. We didn't actually mean for it to work. And then they patched it out. And then maybe there was some backlash. Like,
I'm sure there was.
Because like, let's put it
just
back
a few
in.
days ago, I was playing. What's it called? It doesn't matter. I played a game off of it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I mean, that's
Is it Switch OS fully updated? Like,
it should be because I mean, I'm checking like the shop channels and stuff. So.
Well, and if he's played any recent games, they all like require the new versions. So
yeah, true.
So yeah, they probably just added it back in because they patched it back out. But I never once they patched it out, I kind of just stopped paying attention to if they ever put it back in.
You know, really to get back on topic, you know, it's something that I think would be really great for the Mario Party franchise, and I think it would bring people in. A competitive mode. So like with Mario Party, one of the biggest draws and one of the biggest staples is that there's a lot of luck to it. You know, there's a luck to the throw of the dice. There's a luck to what space you land on, whether or not the turn wheel will allow you to take all the stars from the person who just got all of them. You know, that kind of deal. if they had like a skill-based system, you know, where you could actually choose your space depending on like how, you know, just a quick example, it doesn't have to be put in stone, but like a spin wheel that you could actually time the button press to get the number that you want to be on the board. Like things like that took away the luck aspect and made it completely skill-based as an option. Doesn't have to be the full game, but as an option, I think that would draw in a lot of people. Because that seems to be like the biggest complaint that I get from friends and stuff. It's like, oh, great, I got 30 stars, and for some reason, because you land on this one spot where a boo can take all of my stars and trade it with you, you know, you win the game.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the thing is back in the day, I distinctly remember there actually being a little bit of skill needed, not just in beating the mini games, getting the bonus stars at the end, and blah blah blah.
Like, there is.
That's
There's
always
things
been,
that supplement.
But it felt like over the years they have slowly taken away a lot of the skill. Where like you can literally be like, obviously there's some luck. We know. I mean, it's a board game, right? There's always luck involved in board games, but it's one of those things where, while there's luck involved, you still have certain decisions you can make, like which direction to go at a split path. You know, that can make a big difference. Do you really want to land on a mini game thing, or do you want to land on a shop one where you can go buy something that an item you might be able to use? But they started adding all these things in there that made it like, yeah, you can do all that. But yeah, it is annoying when you get to the end of the game. Someone's like, oh, I waited all game and I landed on the correct space and now I win just automatically, even though I sucked the entire game and did nothing. And I understand that like there is a point to like some rubber bandness to gameplay. Like it works really well in Mario Kart, but you can't have that really exist in a game where people are clearly. I understand that like there's a point of trying to bring like, you know, a parent down to the kids level, because a parent might be just way better at the game than say a 4-year-old, but it's still one of those things where you need to allow skill to still matter. Because if you throw in these random items that are just like, look, it doesn't matter how good or bad you are, you could just get a lucky roll and you win the entire game on the final roll, even though you sucked and had 0 stars. That shouldn't be possible. The items like that just shouldn't be in the game. I felt like items like that kind of ruin it. Like the boo going to steal, like I remember back in the day, it never stole all the stars. It would take like 1 or 2. Fine. You take 1 or 2 of my 15 stars, I'm still in the lead.
I remember there was like one space in Mario Party 6 or something like that.
Oh, and well, that's when it started getting bad. So
yeah, if you landed on it, it would like be a random roulette, and it would like choose the character, and then it would choose the whatever is exchanged or what's given or what else.
I remember that.
Yeah, and at one point, no joke, someone did so well, it was like 15 stars, while everyone else was just nothing. And the person who performed the worst ended up on that space and had their stars swapped with the best player and won. And it was on the last turn of the game.
Yeah, so. I think that I remember that happening to me. I wasn't the one who like lost, but I was going to lose anyways. I was in second or third. But I watched the swap happen, and I'm like, this is just bullshit. Yeah. Like, I don't want to even play because I wasn't even the one that got screwed, and I'm just like, I understand luck in a game, but there's also a reason why board games and even card games and all this stuff, they have these rules in place that prevent things like that, because that ruins the fun for so many. As exciting as it is for the person to go from last to first, they even feel like it's an empty accomplishment. Because they don't like, oh, because I got lucky with one item at the very end of the game, I win, even though I did nothing. That's and
I say
terrible.
like, and to anyone listening at home, I don't think that they should get rid of that outright. I think that there is value to that, and
changes.
It's like you said, it's like so an adult can sit down with their kid and be on equal playing fields. But I need to limit its power for both. Yeah. Like make all the difference.
Because I remember Booze used to take some stars. It didn't have to take everything.
Yeah, random number between.
Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't be able to steal stars from players. Of course, you should be able to do that.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, what I like fun. There used to be an item you could get that you could just, everyone on the board knew you had that item, and they knew at any moment you could take that item out and take 1 star from another player. But we knew it. And it was a skill-based decision on when you wanted to use that item. A lot of players will blow their load right away, but then it might not be the best time. You know, you might want to wait and see what happens as the game plays out.
It's funny because the game is also just a game of politics as well. Like, I found myself many times, like, bargaining with people or
Oh,
like,
yeah.
creating alliances and
Yep.
then stabbing people in the back.
That's how it is in competitive games. Competitive games
Yeah,
that are
it's good.
technically
Good old
always
couch co-op.
they're like always a free for all, but we're gonna work together until I just don't feel like doing it anymore.
Right.
Until I feel like, you know what, it's advantageous for me to really screw you over.
We got
Never
enough.
play Mario Party with Nate.
We got enough of a lead right now
Well, I think
that
they-
I'm just gonna go. We
I
don't
think
need
they
you
added
anymore.
a team mode at one point.
They did, yeah.
So I mean, there is a point where you can actually literally be on teams and you're not trying to screw each other over them. But
It's quite lame.
it is lame.
It reduces the amount of mini games and everything.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I'm all for experimenting with new modes, but you can't experiment in a way that it just makes the game less fun. It should just make it more interesting in a different way. And, you know, to the point of the game boards have gotten stale in that it felt like they ran out of original ideas. And if that's just the case, then so be it. That sucks. You should just not make any more Mario Party games. But I always liked the entertainment factor of the boards. They were just fun to watch, the animations, fun to watch like what's going to happen in this crazy world. Different things can happen on the same board. You know, every time you played a board, it always felt a little different. Yes, the layout might be the same, but maybe they'll even change up where certain blocks are and certain things are. They'd change all that up. The shop might not always be in the same place, the Bowser shop or whatever. It was just that they found interesting ways to keep the boards feeling fresh every time you play. But now it feels a lot like, at least based on what I played in Top 100 and on Wii U, it felt like Monopoly, where you can get all the different versions of Monopoly you want. It's still the same game board. Everything still goes the same way. There's nothing unique about these game boards beyond some aesthetic differences.
Right.
And I hated that. And I get that in part this is to streamline developing games. I get that. But just like with the single player thing in the Mario Tennis, Nintendo's at their best when they take their time and they don't start crapping these games out as fast as they can.
Well, and then speaking of that is the fact that, you know, Mario Party's been out for so long and they keep pushing games out. It, you know, if you keep putting out crap games, eventually people are just going to get sick of it and stop buying it. And I think that's what's happening too, is it's slowly just wearing on people that this isn't as good as the last one. This one isn't as good as the last one. This one.
I mean, let's be clear. Mario Party should be treated like Smash Bros. And like, you know, Mario Kart and all
They
stuff.
should take their time.
Take
with
their
releases.
time and make it a once per generation game.
Mm-hmm.
maybe twice, depending on.
No, they've proven they can't.
Maybe 3 times.
They've proven they can't. Like
Maybe every other week.
Back in the day, obviously the first 5 games they were releasing them kind of quickly, and it felt nice. But then all of a sudden, it started not feeling so great. And I feel like if they had just spaced out even those first 5, we wouldn't have 10 of them, and those first 5 might have sold even better. It should be. I feel like that way with anything. Like this Mario Tennis game, this should be the only Mario Tennis game we get on Switch.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that there was like 3 Mario Party games per console at one point.
Why?
You know?
If they had focused just on one and made that one amazing, it could have sold way better. Way
It would
better.
have been great. Just take your
Um,
time, Nintendo. Just take your time.
I'm not saying there can't be franchises that have more than one release. Like if you want to do an Odyssey 2, Nintendo, do it. You want to do a Breath of the Wild 2, do it. But at least when it comes to these more unique experiences that you don't have necessarily multiple teams working on all the time, you need to keep them to just once per generation. This is what has kept Mario Kart from getting stale, Smash Bros. From getting stale, is that you know you're just getting that one game per generation. When you buy it, you don't have to be like, oh, I should wait for the next one and see if it's better.
Right. I mean, but if you do bring out more than one per console, make it so it doesn't feel rushed.
Make it
You
worthwhile.
have to. You have
unique.
to. Then that's. The
I
thing.
just don't trust them at this point. To
Well,
do
right,
that.
right. And that was my point too. Is that they've put out so many just games.
Yeah,
That
well,
it's
they just did top 100. I don't want to see Mario Party on Switch until like 2020. But when they do bring it, I want to see them being like, look, just like with Mario Tennis, we are rededicated to making this series great again. You're only going to get one of them on Switch for now. Maybe on the next system, we maybe have one at the beginning of the generation, one at the end. But we want to prove to you we know how to make these games
Right.
great again.
Hashtag make Mario Party great again.
Yep.
Make Mario Party great again.
Make that trending, too.
How many hashtags are we trying to make
2.
trend? Just 2?
Just do.
Just 2?
Let's do.
Reboot
What was
Reggie?
the first one? Reggie Revival?
No, reboot Reggie.
Reboot Reggie.
Reboot Reggie.
Yeah.
Reboot Reggie
Reggie.
and make
You know,
Mario
what-
Party great again.
If
Make
our
Mario
channel
Party
ever
great
gets
again.
to like 1 million subs, I really want to try hard to make Prime Things Happen trend.
Oh yeah,
on Twitter.
right?
Just hashtag Prime Things Happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I'm trying to make it like a catchphrase, but I don't know.
What's the context of it?
Well, we're Nintendo Prime, where Prime Things happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought, well,
It's a play on
sorry,
words. It's a
I
play on
thought
words.
like maybe it had something to do with Metroid.
No, that's funny. So speaking of Metroid, so we're kind of winding down here and get to the end of the podcast. I guess a little Nintendo Prime lore here. So a lot of people assume that Nintendo Prime's name is based on Metroid Prime, right? Mm-hmm. Very, very popular series. Daniel, who made our podcast intro, it used to be the intro for all of our videos, but because it's kind of longer, we made it sort of the podcast intro. It's a Metroid Prime themed intro.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with the logo moving and using some Metroid music and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's really, really cool. It reminds you a lot of, like, Metroid Prime. The thing
Nice.
is, he did that because he thought Nintendo Prime was based on Metroid Prime.
Ah.
But I am not even that big of a Metroid fan.
An honest mistake.
But I didn't even, like, here's where the Nintendo Prime name came from. I'm really bad at naming things. So, I'm like, okay, I want this to be about all of Nintendo, so let's just throw lame Nintendo in there, just because. I really love Amazon Prime. Let's just borrow the Prime.
Oh my
Nintendo
God.
Prime.
You're not serious.
I am serious. That's where the name came from. I mean, to give you an idea, one time, like 4 or 5 years ago at Zelda Informer, I was trying to launch a second website that was basically Zelda Informer, but for all of Nintendo, which is what Nintendo Prime was supposed to be. Before I realized that YouTube's the way to go. I love YouTube way more. It was called New Nintendo. Little did I know that New Nintendo 3DS was going to be a thing. How many years later? But it's such a lame name. I'm like, I'm going to call it Nintendo. I'm just going to throw it new in the front. Apparently, I thought that was a good idea at one point.
Well, apparently so did Nintendo.
And
It wasn't a good idea for a website, and it wasn't a good idea.
Well, and here's the thing. Like, I'm obviously we're going to be Nintendo Prime for as long as we can be, unless Nintendo just tells us we can't use Nintendo anymore. But like, it's one of the things I regret the most, I think, in naming this channel when I'm like, Nintendo Prime. How lame is that?
It sticks.
I can't even, like, okay, we were trying to use a new merchandise provider, right? Because we have some certain fans that say, hey, we want certain types of merchandise from you. Like, we want hats, we want mugs, we want the stuff. Can you find someone that can, have that kind of merchandise? I'm like, sure. And when I was looking at this Spreadshirt thing that we get through our MCN, and I'm submitting our designs, they're like, sorry, it's rejected. Why? It's got Nintendo in it, and it's a copyrighted word. And I'm just like, well, I mean, you got me. Well, what if
You got me.
What if I finally registered Nintendo Prime as a legal business? Then it's my copyrighted word. Mm-hmm. At least the combination of Nintendo and Prime would be my copyrighted word. And they're just like, yeah, we still won't do it because we just don't want to take a risk with Nintendo. I'm like, Nintendo works with me. They're cool. They don't care.
Yeah.
But they're just like, we're not taking that risk. And it's just like, it's not just the merchandise thing, but it's kind of like, I just don't feel unique. I feel like I went with what I would have did making a fan site way back in the day. Mm-hmm. The first ever fan site I had was Zelda Domain. And when I tried launching a general gaming website at the time, I was really big into Total War, the game series on PC. And at the time, they'd only had one game released. It was Shogun Total War. Yeah. So what was the name of my website? Shogun Total Gaming.
Oh man!
Like I
can't believe that. I just can't believe that. It was like I like Amazon Prime, so
Nintendo Prime.
And make sure you buy our subscriptions to Nintendo Red.
Yes. Yeah, it's.
Hey, I think it's a unique name. I think it sticks. I mean, honestly, at this point,
I mean, how did I know?
It seems appropriate. Nintendo Prime.
Yeah.
Well, it works. I think like it's stuck. It works. People recognize. I mean, I think what made me think about this even now is while I was live streaming earlier today, the Nintendo Direct Mini, and then I was doing our little post show, basically reactions and just talking to fans. And like I was incredibly surprised. We had like 260 people watching us live. We're such a small channel. My live streams
That's really good.
My live streams only usually get like 30 people. So like I'm just what's happening? I don't want to end this live stream ever.
Yeah.
We just keep going all day. So whatever, things are going great, and so all of a sudden, like 5 people mentioned, "Hey, do you work at Nintendo?" I'm just like, that's the problem with a name called Nintendo Prime. It feels official, and it's not. It's the same thing I used to have with the Zelda Informer. People would always like, even on the Zelda Informer Facebook page, it'd be like, so can you make this? Can you like please HD Skyward Sword or something? And I'm like, well, I mean, I can show you links to a fan modded one, but I don't work at Nintendo, so I could try to pass the message along, but they're probably not going to listen.
Yeah,
that's the problem with fan sites and in general, like Nintendo, everything going Nintendo. There's always going to be some people who are like, oh, they have Nintendo in the name. They must be officially affiliated with Nintendo.
Sure,
I'm going to ask them for Star Fox reboot. You know.
So it's like the mall Santa of websites.
Wow.
Ooh, boy.
Wow.
I want a reboot of Star Fox.
Yes. That is amazing. I think that phrase alone means you need to be on our podcast every week.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh, that was amazing. That might be the greatest moment in podcast history.
That might be. That might be.
Oh man, I already lost my train of thought. It doesn't matter anymore.
I think we need to, or you need to work on working that in a little bit, so where Prime things happen. You know, so like at the top of the YouTube page, rework the
the banner,
the banner
that I didn't create.
Yep,
because I to this day I suck at Photoshop.
Yeah,
here's the thing: people are like, oh, I kind of like your thumbnails. Yeah, that's because all the assets in it, like all of like the Nintendo Prime logo, the text, it was all made by other people, and I just kind of cut it out and pasted it and things, and it happens to just look nice. I didn't do anything original or cool with it. But like that's when you work with the tools you got, right?
Right.
After all these years, I've had to use Photoshop for so many years, and I don't know why I've never gotten better. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Happens.
What's wrong with you?
And then actually update your website.
Oh, get out of here with that! All right.
Hey, you promised your website
maybe
people.
Darren will start updating the website.
Yeah, Darren.
It happened.
You know, here's the thing, Darren. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you read my post for the New Year's. It's actually not that hard to update the website. I'm just so busy making YouTube content that by the time I'm done, I just want to go to bed.
I know.
So here's the deal. It's really easy to handle the website right now. If you really want to take this responsibility, we have only one news post a day. That news post comes out. It's supposed to release at 8 p.m. Central, but whatever. It can be flexible if someone else is doing it. All that news post does is recap all of the major news stories from that day. That is it. We are not doing a zillion posts a day. Just one post that recaps things.
I like how we're discussing this on the podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it over? Or?
No, well, because our audience doesn't even know we have a website, right?
I just like giving them crap about it.
Well, we have a website audience.
www.nintendoprime.net.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, we have a website. I try to update it, but it's every time I am like, I'm going to do it. Oh, my kids need something, or my fiance needs something, or oh man, I get back here. Oh, some big news hit. Well, I should post that through the site, but I really should make a video about it. Like I always remind Eric when he's telling me this. I'm like, well, the money's in YouTube.
I know. I just like giving you crap about it.
Yeah, no, it's like, Darren, I'm going to be on vacation this week. Could you watch my dog?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess people are going to have to tune into the website to see if I accept this challenge.
Yeah, you're not going to accept the challenge.
There you go.
Darren, don't bite off more than you can chew, which is pretty much any guarantee you're going to post at Nintendo Prime is biting off more than you can chew. Let's be honest. It's the same as me. It's the same as me.
Boy.
I made a promise, and I've already broken it for like 5 straight days.
Yeah.
So like, here's the thing: neither one of us have the dedication to pull it off. It's just not going to happen.
One post per day, a recap of news.
Yes.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
I can handle all the other posts because all the other posts are just supposed to be like our podcast or
challenge accepted.
Any video I release.
Challenge accepted, huh?
Okay.
Challenge accepted.
All right.
Yeah. All right. You guys heard it here. when Darren doesn't show up on the podcast next week because he says he has time, but he really doesn't, or he forgets. And you see him post up to like 2 posts in a row for the next couple days, and then actually by the time you listen to this podcast, he'll probably already have forgotten to put up posts. Yeah.
Oh, Nate, I'm gonna make you eat those words.
All right.
Darren, I know,
Darren's gonna put in work.
I know how much your work ethic can come into play, but I think you've been out of the game too long.
Ooh, that stung. That stung. Okay,
Out of the game too
challenge
long.
accepted.
Out of the game too long. Oh, here's the thing. It was funny when I left Zelda Informer. Did I leave?
Quote unquote. Left.
I don't know if you can call it that I left, but when I no longer worked at Zelda Informer, I remember messaging Masses at one point, and I'm just like, just to tell you something about Darren, I don't know how hard he's going to work without me telling him to work. I'm like, Darren can be a very, very hard worker, but like you have to know exactly how to motivate him. What I just
gotta be
did,
motivated.
what I just did there, Masses, by the way, that's how you motivate him.
Yeah, that's exactly how. Tell me I'm not going to do something. It will get done.
Yeah, right.
You just gotta know your staff a little better, but that's all right. It is what it is. You know what, Darren? If you do it, great. If you don't, no, I would love it because I do want to make the site matter a little bit because I like having a place to go that's away from YouTube, but still have like that Nintendo Prime essence to it.
I got some opinion editorial pieces kind of going around in my brain that might come out.
This is what sucks. We have like a decent following on Facebook. We have like 60,000 or 63 or 1,000 or whatever. The reason I don't push it so much is because Facebook hates YouTube videos. The only way to get YouTube videos to really work on Facebook is to post them on a website, but then that means I have to actually do it. So I apologize to our Facebook followers. I know some of them actually check out our channel once in a while. I do apologize that I don't get all of our content on Facebook. The thing is, I'm like a Facebook savant at growing pages and getting content out, and I'm just like, but I like YouTube too much. YouTube sucked me in and it won't let me go. By the way,
It's pretty great.
By the way, since we're going to end here in the next couple minutes,
This is the best podcast.
I have
segment.
to. I have to ask Mr. Boundary Break over there.
Hello.
What's your next Boundary Break video going to be? Please tell me.
Sonic Generations.
Ooh, good one.
Okay. I'm looking forward to that one. All right, cool.
That's all I'll see you in the comments. I'll pin you. I'll pin you in the comments.
Ooh, now I have. Now it's
do
a
it.
challenge for me to remember to go watch it.
Yeah.
But it has
I'll
to be a
remind
comment
you.
that proves that you watched the whole thing.
Oh, how am I going to do that?
You don't have to get that clever about it.
I'm actually wondering if there's a way I can show my watch time on that one video. There's got to.
You just post a
You know
link.
what? You know what? I'll live stream it and then I'll link
There you go.
to the live stream of me watching it. No, I don't have to be a live stream, I guess.
Oh
I can
no!
just
What did
record
I agree to?
Nintendo Prime commented. Oh, I like.
Yeah,
how
see, this
it
is
says that
how
third
we're
one.
collaborating, folks. He comes on our podcast. I live stream his videos.
There you go.
So you don't actually have to go to his channel to watch it.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, rip off the video. That's good.
Boundary Break coming on tomorrow night.
Yeah, right.
That's like that is probably the worst bargain.
Boundary break now on Nintendo Prime.
Right.
I wonder, there has to be a YouTuber out there that like bases their entire business on live streaming other people's YouTube videos. It has to
I'm
exist
sure.
somewhere.
Yeah, they're called React channels.
Oh, there's a sick burn.
Yowzers.
Ouch. And then especially hits close to home because I just reacted to 2 different YouTubers like for the first time ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Granted, now, to be fair, their videos were like 10 minutes long. Mine was like 45 minutes long. So it's like 99% me, but still.
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh,
Yeah.
you hit me. It's okay.
Yeah, it was like a.
I'm not a React channel, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I honestly don't even care about that stuff. I know there's like some YouTubers that lost their minds when it became a rising thing, but
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's whatever.
it's when you straight up re-upload. That's the only time it's like, or if you just like take the footage. And just,
dude, the re-uploaders are the worst.
yeah,
They are the worst.
YouTube politics.
It's
man.
like, oh, you have 300,000 subscribers, and you just jacked my video off a 30 sub channel. What the hell are you doing?
right.
I'm like, yeah, I'm claiming that video and getting it taken down. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't understand. I mean, I just don't know. Like, there's even and you see this with popular TV shows too. Like, I watched an episode or like a segment of Pawn Stars on the History Channel thing, and all of a sudden, because I watched one little segment of Pawn Stars, I got suggested a bunch of channels that rip off Pawn Stars and keep re-uploading their full episodes, and I'm just like, why does this exist?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I mean, I get that like History Channel's not going to upload full episodes, but why? This is just so illegal. What is
Happens.
YouTube?
Yeah.
YouTube's got a lot of issues. I understand. I don't know. If they can find a way to flag every video I put up, they can find a way to get rid of those TV shows on channels that shouldn't be on. Just saying. Just
Right.
saying. All right.
Let's hope we're not
Oh,
starting
YouTube
something.
hate.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Nintendo Prime Podcast. I obviously want to thank our guests. Well, I guess the biggest guest was She Says over there because Darren's actually been on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll be on the
Thank you for
podcast
having
more often and not be considered a guest. He'll just be part of the podcast that's
Right.
here.
I'll just be Darren.
Just Darren.
Darren.
Just Darren. I know.
I'm here.
Like I won't have to be like, oh, Darren, that former Zelda Informer guy. I could be like, no, Darren, like Darren from the Nintendo Prime
The
podcast.
dude who's been here forever.
Yeah.
Darren from the just like whenever Eric's on, I'm like, yeah, you guys know Eric from the Nintendo Prime podcast.
Yeah.
'Cause that's like the only thing that Eric does too. So it's like, hey,
Yeah.
or I can be like Darren, the guy that makes all the posts on our website.
Eric, the
Yes.
former color guy from Zelda Domain.
Oh, back in those days, context there when you had the HTML websites, and this is before like CSS and PHP. Like when you updated the layout, you had to update every single page individually. So I changed the color scheme of my index. Crap, we have to go through all 700 pages of our guides and individually change color codes. Oh.
Ew.
And Eric officially started working for me way
Yeah.
back then as the color guy because I'm like, Eric, I'm never going to get this done. Fine, I'll help.
Yeah, right?
Go, Eric.
Yeah, right.
That's where, guys,
Hero revealed.
guys, Zelda Domain is where this dream began. So it's got a warm place in me. Started with the Zelda
That
websites.
counts as Nintendo Prime lore.
It
Where-
does.
where Prime things
can't.
happen.
I can't revive Zelda Domain, but yeah, that's where it started. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. You, if you want to get this podcast early, or if you want to get the next episode, because obviously at this point you either got it early or you didn't. But if you want to get our next episode of the podcast early, you can head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Prime. For $5 a month, you get early access to the podcast. I usually say it's a day early access, but lately it's been like 2 or 3 days because once we changed the 60 FPS format, it's taking a little longer to render the video. But we're working around that. We're hoping to get the files collaborated a little sooner here, Darren.
Whoa. This is the first time I've been on a podcast in months.
I know. Months. It might be a year. It's been a
That
long
long?
time.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were on.
Yeah.
You were on a bunch of episodes in 2016 when we first started out, and I don't even
This
know.
is like episode 48, right?
I'm gonna have to go
Yeah.
back in. I'm gonna have to go back and see if you were even
we weren't
on an
weekly.
episode. Yeah,
For
we
a
weren't-
long time.
We weren't weekly for a long time.
Man.
I'm gonna have to go back in 2017 and check out every episode, see if you were even on one.
You're just having flashbacks at that time my audio was totally screwed.
No,
So you were on it, but not really on it.
I don't remember that.
This was on the Zelda Informer podcast, actually.
Yeah,
My microphone was acting weird.
Oh no, there was one, Darren. You probably don't remember. We were in a different recording area of my house. That was when we were out in the man cave, and we were recording. And you were there, and suddenly you cut out like 2 minutes in and never returned. And Eric and I just sat there. What? He was reliant. Like the 3 of these topics were for him.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't remember that.
Let's just keep. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So what? Hey, Eric, what's your
Yeah.
top 5 N64 game?
Right? Yep.
I swear there was a time where every other podcast.
Oh,
it would
I remember
be,
that. I remember that. My power cut out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
It'd be like every other podcast, either because of something with Darren or something, whatever. We would just be like, so let's just talk about what's our top 5 games on this system that we've already talked about
Yeah.
and why.
Yeah.
It was the late. You guys don't want to listen to those early episodes of the podcast. They were
No.
not good.
No.
Well, my internet connection and audio recording is a lot more reliable now. I'll tell you
Oh.
that.
Well, I'm thankful for that. In fact, today I think I only heard you cut out once.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I mean, progress. We're making progress.
Yeah.
All right, folks, go ahead and check out She Says on YouTube. If you can't find it, we'll obviously have a link to his YouTube and everything down below. If you don't for some reason still can't figure it out, type Boundary Break into the search on YouTube. That's hopefully the only thing that pops up. I've never heard of anyone else.
You could
doing
actually
Boundary
just
Break.
type in boundary and it'll pop up.
Oh, really? Nice. Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. You can, well, you guys want to handle your Twitter details at all?
Yeah, I'll throw my Twitter. It's at Realdern, RealDern. You
Feels so
can
good to hear
come
you say
and
that.
debate the merits of a playable Luigi in Odyssey with me, as I've been doing all day. Not even joking, with one butthurt guy.
Oh,
You say butthurt on a YouTube?
I don't know.
I don't know.
If
I
not,
think
Am I
I-
demonetized?
I think we've gone past that a while ago.
No,
Yeah.
it was funny because I did say like I think a swear word or something early in the podcast. I think there was one podcast where we dropped an F-bomb because I don't know if I was arguing with a guest or if I don't think I've ever argued with a guest. So no,
Yeah.
it happened to be a topic where I was just really pissed off.
Was that with the A?
That video never got claimed. That video was fine. The next video where I talked about it was something to do with Mario Kart. I talked about my favorite characters in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That video got claimed. A 3-minute video just mentioning some characters from Mario Kart.
Well, yeah. Remember, we've discussed this. It's because
So
the podcasts are
scandalous.
2.5 hours long that they just don't care about
They don't
it.
want to listen.
Yeah, YouTube algorithms are like, nah,
Whatever.
I'm all set.
I'm
with
serious
that.
about this.
That video's
When I
probably
have a podcast episode get claimed and I dispute it, it is the fastest turnaround on any video ever. I will let me dispute this claim. 10 minutes later, my video is good to go. They did not listen to a 2.5 hour podcast in 10 minutes. They just looked at it and they said, "We're not listening to this." They listened to the beginning, like, "Oh yeah, Nintendo Prime. Oh, it's Nintendo." All right.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, whatever.
Little
This
do
kid-friendly.
they know
Send
it.
it.
An hour and a half in, we're sending satanic messages to children.
Yes.
Whoa.
All right, you can follow Nintendo Prime at Ninty Prime. I also have a personal Twitter. I call it personal. It's public. It is what it is. At Nate Jantz. Honestly, if you just follow the at Ninty Prime, I'm the one going nuts on there. If there's ever an image posted, apparently that's Darren because he just did that randomly the other day.
Yeah, I did.
I assume it was you because no one else has access to the damn
Nope,
thing.
it was me, and I plan on doing it more.
Because I'm more of the person that's, hey, let me converse with people. Hey, if you're sick of the tweets of me asking YouTubers if they want to be on the podcast, so I don't know how else to collaborate right now because that's the only thing I have that's a collaboration.
You got me, Nate. That's what
I got. Yeah, I'll just be like, Darren, go be the hookup that hooks me up with all these other YouTube channels, and then I never have any hookups and.
all these old connections.
When you
I
vanish,
somehow
when
still
you
have.
vanish for 6 months and I cry because I can't find a guest. Then again,
I won't, I promise.
no, it's okay.
I promise.
Well, like she says over there, I got obviously your contact info on Discord now, so it's no big deal. But
Yeah.
I'll keep you in mind because I actually try to plan out guests. Like I usually start asking people on Sundays, and we record on Thursdays, so we kind of have a long leeway of figuring out who's going to be on.
Okay.
So like
Nate,
if I have you
your
on a future,
wrap-up segments are always the longest.
I shouldn't say
of any
if.
podcast.
I should say if I have you on another podcast, you're going to be on another podcast. I promise. Unless you say no. I mean,
Who? Me?
yeah, you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll be on.
Yeah, of course you'll say no.
Darren, we actually talked.
Yeah, of course.
Darren, we talked about this on the last podcast when you weren't here. We because you mentioned your outro segments are the longest ever. Someone actually made a comment about that because they said the most interesting parts are when you say the podcast is over and then it goes on for another
Oh
half
yeah,
hour.
yeah. You know,
Oh yeah,
Because we
That's
hear
the
about
best.
all this crazy things that you would not normally talk about.
it's the Wisconsin goodbye.
Oh yeah.
You say goodbye. You say goodbye. You stand around for half hour talking. You say goodbye again. Then it's about 15, 20 minutes. Then it's bye again. And then you might finally leave 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
Oh,
Might-
yeah, where I'm from, it's nothing like that. It's like if you spend even so much as 3 extra words after saying goodbye, you end up like I almost used the P word.
I did earlier in the
PG.
podcast.
Yeah, you end up making that person very irate. They oftentimes will just walk away from you. Goodbye. Yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah, you can't do that in Wisconsin. We'll
No.
consider the walk away the
Yeah,
insult.
right? Exactly. Yeah.
What?
We'll consider the person walking away as a grave insult
Yeah.
for not completing the goodbye.
Yeah, the Wisconsin goodbye.
And I've always said this. This is the worst podcast because we have never figured out a way in over almost 2 years of doing this to just sign out and be done.
Actually end the podcast.
Yeah, it's never happened.
No,
So you know what?
You gotta do.
Let's
Just
try.
say we're wrapping up the podcast. Thanks for listening.
Thanks
to
for
the
listening.
Prime podcast.
Prime things
where
happen.
Prime things happen.
Darren's gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
yeah.
Can I be the outro guy from now on?
Yeah, I was gonna say in our podcast we just have the host just steamroll it, make sure no one else can really.
Yeah, but Nate doesn't steamroll.
I don't
he just
steamroll.
keeps the conversation going for a half hour.
I'll be like, yeah, we're done. Oh, hey, when's your next boundary break? Oh, hey,
Remember,
oh, hey, yeah, oh,
we're
what's
from
going on?
Wisconsin.
Shout out your Twitter. Someone posted an image on the Prime Twitter. I hope it was Darren because it's the only other guy that account.
If you can't tell, folks, I like to talk, and I think that's
that's
guess
perfect for a podcast.
That's perfect for a podcast, isn't
Just
it?
not ending it.
I get in trouble when I do live streams too. I'm like, okay, I'm going to cut this live stream off at midnight, 2 a.m.
Yep.
Okay, I really need to go to bed before my kids wake up, 4 a.m. Like, I can't help it. Guys, stop watching. So I will stop watching when there's no more viewers, or stop doing it when there's no more viewers. Although today I was very good.
Yeah.
At the Nintendo Direct one, 260 live viewers. I was like a half hour past. I'm like, no. My kids took a crap in their pants. I gotta go. That will get me off of things in a hurry.
And
Anyways,
that's a great way to end the
we
podcast.
are done. We are done. It is finito, finado. Catch you guys later.
That's how you should end every single podcast. Is just like, well, my kids just crap their pants.
And then where
I guess
Prime
we're-
things happen. Just randomly dropped in there.
My
Yeah, those
kids'
two
pants.
lines go hand in hand.
My kids' pants where prime things happen.
That's a prime moment right there.
wait. We might have to cut that part out.
No, it's okay. It's fine. We've gotten away with worse.
Yeah.
Peace out.
All right.
Here's what I'll say. Martin, editor. Find a way to blow up the podcast at the end.
Yes.
All right, we're done.
Okay.
Now we're done.
All right.
Where Prime things happen.